that's the way the cookie crumbled.
Welcome back to Land Drop. I'm so used to answering my phone. Welcome back to Left Right Cab. After our 2-week hiatus, we've been going bi-weekly lately. This is a debate show. It's not really a debate show. We drink wine, eat cheese, and debate topics of the day. Talk about pop culture, history, politics, current events. I take the more right approach. My friends here take the more left approach, and we try to always find common ground at the end. We rotate. See, we haven't done this in a while. I'm rusty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, usually
I don't have the smooth.
Usually you have that
The ghost just opened the door, so that's why I'm scared.
Yes.
Oh, Antonio, our frequent podcast guest, has arrived. Say hi to the fans. Let them hear your pretty voice.
Hello.
Hi, fans.
Did I pick it up?
Antonio has a very, very pink hair now.
Oh, you do? I like it.
Do we have
Separate glass?
We rotate ideas.
Okay.
We exchange ideas. This week it's my idea, my topic. Then we also rotate who buys the wine, and we rotate who buys the cheese. The cheese being the later element that we added at the end because we just wanted food with our wine.
Yeah,
just
no one deserves an off week. So
do we have what's our topic today?
thought we should at least discuss the Chauvin case.
I'm adding it right now. That's why I'm asking.
Yes. I think that's the topic of the week.
3 counts.
And so I'm going to take this. I'm going to take the debate approach that 2 of the 3 counts probably should have been dismissed or not even considered. And I don't know where I haven't talked to these 2 at all about their opinion on the case. I actually am coming into this blind. They may flat out agree with me, and that might not even be much of a debate. But before we get into that, we will toast you guys. We appreciate you guys watching. Follow this on Twitch and all the older episodes on YouTube.
Or more commonly, just watching on YouTube.
Or watch on YouTube.
Yeah, there should be another one in the calendar.
Last episode was like a Travis birthday fun episode where we got to debate our favorite cartoons all growing up and what won. It was a kind of a fun tournament bracket. We do that every few months. We would break it up and do something kind of more casual and not so serious.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's always good to kind of keep things a little light every once in a while. Well, despite the fact that it was we had a lot of votes going on for it, but I know Jake was very disheartened by the final one.
Yeah.
Actually, not just the final, but because I think even Metalocalypse beat
Boondocks.
Shampoo.
Oh, you went...
Yeah, I looked at all of them for it, and it was...
I'm fine with that, though.
Yeah, I don't... I wonder if... Boondocks...
But as I said, Ashley agreed with you almost throughout the whole thing. In that Futurama should have won, and Bebop, Cowboy Bebop should have won.
Yeah.
You 2 share similar taste in that aspect. We'll get Sergeant Frog in there next time.
One time.
The great anime that is Sergeant Frog.
So I'll introduce the wine reporter, guys.
Oh,
So
Jake's wine.
We have an Arigoni wine. Arigoni is a local winery in Portland, Connecticut, on Route 66. The winery is really good. I've been there a couple of times. I haven't had this wine, but I did buy this at a trip there. This is the only Cab Sav at the time they had. There's no description on it, but it's a
Supreme cracker.
It's Supreme
Yeah,
Red Select. I obviously don't know anything with this one, so just go for it.
Anything on label? Comments?
No text on label, but they do bottle this themselves, so it's a family-run thing. So I didn't expect anything on label, you know. This is also a rotating fruit, so it's like they probably just have one label that they slap on whatever. You know?
Gotcha. So no, unless it's from the same sort of vintage on it, it's all going to be this is going to be different than next year's. It's going to be different than something else.
I remember this is the 2017.
Even
that's not indicated on the bottle.
One thing we should also do is everyone that we know, people that are here hanging out with us now, or just our friends or people watching, if you go to local wineries or around the area and you go and tell them, hey, I have these friends that do this podcast. Do you want to donate a bottle to their podcast? They'll review it and critique it and just get your name out there. Free advertising. Sure. It gives us some wine to enjoy. Hopefully we enjoy it. Might be shit wine.
Sometimes there are times.
Sometimes it's shit wine. But just to get your brand and name out there, I'm happy to just do that. Just word of mouth is the best kind of advertisement. Mm-hmm. You also can vote in the live chat or in the YouTube comments. What is the superior cracker? As Travis tried to slip in a little comment. I don't know if the mic picked it up.
The answer is always Triscuits.
The answer is Club Crackers.
Biscuits.
Club
Triscuits.
Crackers. All right, we're making a bracket. 32 crackers. We're starting over.
Honestly, like, I think
Ritz
Ritz
is
is going to get knocked out. I mean, we have, I think,
it's like the Looney Tunes of crackers. It's like it's
the Ritz.
Yeah, it's like it's a big name.
I think
Where did Cheez-Its fall?
Ooh, they fight.
They're
They
not
fight.
the same.
That's in that fringe
It's a
bracket.
fringe bracket. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like the
it's
same
like-
category.
But what if it
Cheez-Its.
ends up white? I like the white cheddar cheese.
I'm also a white cheddar boy. Yeah, 100%. Way better than the yellows.
Yeah. That said,
We're a fan of wine,
we do
cheese,
have-
and brackets.
We don't even debate anymore. It's
Don't
just all
debate.
like,
We'll let the people decide through the votes.
so we have several cheeses actually as well. Kelsey had a full listing of each, and we've got a Gouda, which is a red wax Gouda, a garlic and herb chev, which I have had all of these cheeses before. Jake has as well.
I'm the virgin.
They're all phenomenal.
Bruh.
Bruh.
The camera.
Jake is just
Jake
telling
just
us.
reached over. Wow.
This is-
Can we edit that out?
You're good.
And I mean, we'll just hand you stuff.
We could have handed it to you.
Yeah.
It could have been smooth.
Keep going.
Alas, so that what Jake was going for was the garlic and herb
What did it
chev.
cost you? Everything.
There is also a very good blue, which I know Tanner always says like he doesn't like blues, but I force him to try one all the time anyways. And then we have a not Westminster. What's the one with cranberry?
Wesleyan.
Wesleyan, which is arguably that and the chev are my top two favorites on this board. And there's also some cured meat as well because always have it. And yeah, we cheers. Through.
Yes,
It's
cheers,
good,
cheers.
Good
Let's
being
try
back
this.
after.
Have you had this wine before, Jake?
No. I knew you were going to say that.
Cheers third.
Wait, what is she? What are you gagging over there for?
Cheers.
Floor cheese.
Hey, these are cheese.
Did you really? You fucking savage.
I mean, I know I just cleaned, but not that long.
It's a lot lighter than I thought
I fuck
it would
with
be.
this. I fuck with this light wine.
It's
I love it.
better than I expected to.
It's great.
Because they do have a relatively dry selection there.
Yeah.
It's smooth and sweet. It's right up my alley.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. But I don't necessarily like it.
Yeah,
I
because
haven't
you're not
tried
drinking cotton straight.
Like I have been trying to drink more lighter reds actually. Bought a whole bunch of kind of like Spanish, more like springy kind of wines. It's like I'm trying. It's good. Like I can see that it would be a good cab. This is one that like, I would bring this to a dinner. I would be pleased to get it as a gift. But I guess that depends on the price point for it.
This is in my top three. Wait, if we're putting in three Finger Jack and Agitator as my 1 and 2, this is for me. I'll give it my ranking right now. I'm like sold. This is delicious. It's an 8. It's a solid 8. I love this. You like cotton?
I'm with Antonio on it. Like
I think I like this better than I would expect because I am also doing that dry life. There's something about the body I don't know.
Antonio's like it's pretty good. Give it a 2.
I really really enjoy this.
I for some reason in this specific bodied wine, I'm enjoying the lightness of it. It's refreshing. So yeah, I'll give it a 7.
Yeah, up here with me, baby, in those high numbers.
Low 7, maybe high 6. One of the low 7, high 6. I think 7. I'm gonna stick by my guns. 7.
It was like a 5 to me.
Yeah.
Like it is objectively not a bad wine. It's very good.
I'm trying to look up there.
Objectively speaking, it is.
I like this better than the Reserve Gold that one of the early episodes with the vanilla.
Me too.
I like
Really?
this better.
I do like this more than the Reserve Gold, but I despise that one.
Yeah, me too. I hated that wine so much.
Okay, fine. Remember, actually, maybe we should go back because
it is
my
actually
palate.
quite good looking.
Your palate's
So
growing up.
My
outside
palate
of
was
this,
not refined back then. When we first started, that was my first time like having cab, literally, basically.
I think this is a great middle version of the wine style. I really like it. But again, I'm a 7, below 7 for sure.
yeah, I mean, maybe 5. Like it is a solid mid wine. It is a good wine. Has a very kind of more fruit forward Taste on it. No tannins.
No tannins. That's
None.
That's for sure.
There's none.
Antonio, what's your score?
No, I give it a 5.
Oh, it's good.
Pretty
Yeah,
good.
It's- it's very good.
Enough, but it's still
Yeah.
kind of fruity. It's like
It's-
That might be the
it-
highest rating that Tanner's ever or that
Antonio's good. Yeah,
Antonio's ever
it's
given
good.
one.
Yeah.
So-
Like I don't hate this wine. I would drink it.
I like it a lot.
I may hate it
I
depending on this price point.
So here's I'm just gonna say this for. I've tasted it, and if I saw this in the store, I would buy it at a $19.99 price tag. I would spend $20 for it because I really like it. I don't know if it's worth that much. That's just what I would be willing to pay for it.
This is a $24. That is what I'm guessing.
You
'Cause
think it's
local.
24?
I
Oh,
know
and it's-
Arigoni is.
so this wasn't
has
bought in a
vineyard.
package store. It's bought at the.
At the winery.
I'll go with $19.95, $19.99, that ballpark.
24.
Yeah,
Those guys are
well,
kind of
I'll
bougie,
make
so I'm going to say like 25.
15?
Yeah,
15?
that's actually it's good.
$34.99.
Wow!
Yeah. So right now, Jake has spent the most on a bottle of wine. For it.
Man.
Yes, you have, and it's one of my
It was
favorite.
the
That's
only they had many wines that were cheaper there, right? And they're all very good. This is the
$34.
only cab they had.
you didn't sample it before buying it.
What?
$34.
You didn't sample this before buying it.
No,
It was
'cause they-
blind.
They don't even have a sample of it. You
Oh,
have to
yeah.
buy it the bottle. It's like the most expensive wine.
I'm not gonna lie. On occasion, I'd pay for it. Like if I'm doing something, like yeah,
I don't hate it.
I'd,
No,
I,
neither, actually.
I wouldn't pay $34.99 again for it, but
I
I've
would.
already done that at least once. So.
I would. Like I said, I'd pay 20 comfortably.
Yeah.
34 if I had a good week in
It-
sales
it
at the
is
shop.
like- I would consider it a $20 bottle of wine. Yeah.
You were right
I
though. You're on the
think-
right track that they were a little more pinky up.
Yeah.
They have like $10 bottles of wine there, so it's like
They do, but it's probably like some white wine. Like
yeah.
this is a Pinot Grigio.
Rosés.
Shit. Oh yeah, of course a rosé. Fucking, they're cheap.
We'll go this way instead.
Indeed.
All right, let me
Um,
choke this down. Now I'll present my
cheese
case.
wise though, did you have the goat
Mm.
cheese?
I haven't. Hold on. God damn it. I've only been eating the Gouda.
I'm okay, thanks.
No, the goat cheese is solid.
Is this like a spread?
Yeah, it's a very soft. It's a chef. So it's,
Oh my
it's good.
god.
The cranberry.
Oh, that blue cheese.
I'm dreading that.
Oh no, like it is a little. It's got some funk. Like I'm gonna just front load you that way.
It's got mold in it.
But I
I
very
also like hate fruit, so I'm not looking for that one either.
yeah, the cranberry one. Phenomenal.
Is this enough? Would that be fine?
Yeah, yeah, you're good.
There's
But
just not a lot of
eat
blue.
it
There's
with
no, like,
a-
blue
Eat it
funk.
with a cracker.
Eat it with a cracker.
Yeah.
In that case, that's not fair. That little one's not fair. Let me get some blue, in there.
It's like just a good saltiness to it.
It is very good. Wait till the end of it.
We'll get you there. And then the funk comes in.
Yeah. It's funky.
Yeah,
It's definitely, like I got a foot in my mouth. It's definitely one of the better, probably, it could be the best blue I've ever had.
It is the world.
I don't prefer blues, but
So
it is
it's
good
not
for
ours,
what
it's
it
not
is. It's good for what it is. But I just
Tastes
don't
so-
personally like blues.
It tastes very much like the earth is. That's
It does. I honestly thought
All right,
that
let me
was.
try this cranberry thing here. I don't want that big hunk.
Go for it. Do you not
Okay.
like?
I don't fuck with fruit. I'm on the fast track to scurvy. Cranberry's good.
There we go.
All good.
So I'm just like,
It's not too sweet,
Not too sweet.
which is
Subtle cranberry.
surprising for you that you wanted less sweetness in this regard.
yeah,
It's like fruit.
yeah. I think I'm a fan of all four of these cheeses. Like
Yeah,
it's
I'd probably go.
This first.
You go goat cheese first.
Yeah.
This garlic first. The Gouda. I actually would probably go the. These are tied. They're the third. I'd eat them.
I'd probably lean with the blue cheese, goat cheese.
I'd go with the salami first.
I'd go blue cheese, goat cheese, Gouda.
Also, if you know any really good cheeses, tell us. Let us know.
Yeah,
We'll buy it. We'll try it on air, and we'll tell you what you think.
right.
I guess we'll move into. Jake's been very adamant that there's a flow, that there's a transition. We don't get hung up in random conversation.
Well, I think that's been made mainly just the guests. You know, we've had such a density of guests lately that like the side conversations and like getting through a topic just has been sluggish. So at least for one week, let's get it right.
So for those of you who have been living under a rock, the trial for Mr. Chauvin has concluded. I'm sure there's going to be appeals and it's going to drag. I know there's months before the sentencing happens anyway. I think it's important to instruct or not instruct, that's the wrong word. It's like I'm teaching you or talking down to you. I don't want to do that. Explain the difference in what murder charges are. So the first one is murder one. That's like they have proven intent to
You've
kill.
assassinated someone.
Dog City.
Right.
See you, buddy.
See you, Antonio.
Well, that's
Yeah.
not
Right.
So
So-
to kind of echo with the murder one,
It is the strongest murder charge.
premeditated, and that's one of the caveats of all murder charges itself, is that there is a degree of premeditation
Right.
involved in almost all.
Like, hey, let's go fucking kill that guy. He's cheating with my wife, whatever, and just fucking you go and murder that person. That's a literal like intent to kill. Murder one.
It's more murder two, actually. That example.
Yeah. It's
Murder one is like
because crime of passion.
I am not actually planning this, but if I were to go and like develop a plan to kill a state leader, planning, there's a conscious thought around it.
I understand that. Murder two is a murder that happens while another felony is being committed.
Right.
So that's murder two. Is if I'm going to rob this liquor store and I have a gun and the gun goes off and shoots the clerk, that's murder two because you can tie a second felony in with the murder.
But often the crime you just described could be qualified as a crime of passion. Depends on the state, actually. I think.
So
I'm using generalities. There's different state laws are different, but
in say Florida. Or any castle. Well, I know it isn't actually like standard ground stuff, but like in those instances, if you came home and saw your significant other in bed with someone else and you murder whoever the stranger was, because you didn't know who they were, you may have, we'll say consciously, you knew that your significant other was like cheating or whatever, and you come home, you catch them, and you kill one of them. You could probably make a sound case for, I don't know, where I thought they were attacking them, and you get
another example of murder. Another example of murder two is they can prove that you meant to cause harm to the individual, but murder was not killing them was not on the agenda. It just happened to happen.
Yes,
I'm going to beat the shit out of that guy, and then he ends up dying.
So intent to harm is continue going through this stuff. Yeah, I'll stop interjecting.
Sure. These are blanket general. There's fine lines between every state law. Murder three, firing a gun off in a crowd, standing over an overpass, throwing a brick down, you kill somebody. It's random. It's just killing a random person. You don't, but with
the intention to kill, but not necessarily the
target of who it is. So that's the difference. And then there's manslaughter, which is you're actually probably maybe a good person and you're not even a threat to society, but you acted recklessly and poorly in judgment and it resulted in someone dying. Usually those charges aren't, you don't get life for manslaughter.
Usually it's like 5 to 10.
5 to 10, and I've seen manslaughter as low as 2. But it's a drunk driving. It's things like this where it's like
your decisions inadvertently resulted in the death of another.
You're not a sociopath. You're not a psychopath. You actually may have empathy for the loss of this person because of your actions. And so that's manslaughter. Those are the 4. And so Chauvin was charged with manslaughter, second and third. Those were the 3.
Yeah.
My case here is that the third is, to me, absurd on the face of it and should just have been thrown out. The second, also, I think is when I say this, I mean this from the jury standpoint of the state proving without a reasonable doubt that 3 and 2 should stick. I don't think it's hard to make that case. I think manslaughter is a very easy case to make because of his reckless actions. After he's subdued and handcuffed, you can get off him. I'm with that. I am fine with the manslaughter charge. I think 2 and 3 are tough. I don't think 2 shows a serious intent, and I don't think 3 is just random. I woke up today and I feel like killing a guy I arrest today. I think those are tough cases to make. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you guys agree with me. And because I said I haven't talked to these guys about this case at all. We've been even in the group chat, we've been very quiet about it. What are your guys' thoughts? Do you think second and third? By the way, so Chauvin was convicted on all three, and so this is basically a life sentence.
Right.
He might get acquitted. Well, who knows? I mean, not acquitted. They're going to appeal. Maybe. There's also argument that media sensationalism of this already caused the jury to basically almost have their minds made up before walking in. There's going to be that argument.
So the judge was actually very vocal on what they were viewing would constitute a mistrial. So like I don't think that was, I don't think that there's a lot of weight behind that. But I would say I was genuinely surprised that he was convicted on all three.
I was too.
I did think.
I think three should have not even been on the docket.
So
number three should have been like, no, this is not
thing,
random killing, throwing bricks offside, shooting guns in the air. This is and killing people.
So the reason why those were brought up, from my understanding of, the CNN's coverage, the Atlantic's coverage, ultimately that was not the first time that Derek Chauvin had ever interacted with George Floyd.
I understand. He was a bouncer wasn't it?
So not just,
they worked at a club together, right? Didn't they?
Not just those interactions for a minute, but prior policing in his current role on it. I do think Murder 3 should probably have been thrown out. And that is the only one that I was very surprised, because his actions, he willingly and consciously, Derek Chauvin, willingly and consciously violated established procedure, training, and the guidance that the police department in Minneapolis had been pushing forward.
Mm-hmm.
It was almost like a unanimous position from the Minneapolis police that they're saying, we didn't train you to do this. So, and he wasn't a new police officer either.
Correct. Not some rookie that didn't know how protocol went.
He's someone who had been in this position before. He had done these actions. So I don't think that he was saying, "Oh, I'm going to kill this. I'm going to get up and kill this guy."
Now, what are your thoughts?
But I think he did. He made many wrong decisions, which he should have known to do the opposite from it. And he was also impeding actual first responders initially. There was one of the prosecution's witness was a EMT or fire emergency services person who was like, I am this person, I need to help them, they're dying. And he was like, no, you're going to back off. And she wasn't on duty, I think was the thing for him. But so you actually do, I think everyone who has first aid, CPR certification, any emergency services stuff, doesn't matter if you're on duty or off duty, you have an obligation to go and treat this person. And he refused that. So I could see the murder happening in place of other crimes taking place.
So
what's one thing I'm also kind of surprised on, which is a little kind of adjacent to this, is the other three, I think it's three other cops. I don't know what happened with any of their charges.
One cop of them, of the three, was being vocal about the condition of George Floyd at the time, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember which one. I can't remember the names of the other three.
I know. Truth be told, the only one that I remember on it was I believe he was a Hmong person, which is Korean, I believe, or of
Korean descent.
Yeah,
so I have
of variance on it, but I didn't think that
So
any of them were charged. Despite the fact that they should also be charged.
So when the defense had the coroner come in and said he had 3 times the amount of what a human should have of fentanyl in the system,
Sure.
and that there was no crushing of the larynx, and that if he was to find this, if this body was to be brought to him and they told him we found him in his apartment on the floor like this, it would be ruled drug overdose, maybe accelerated due to increased heart rate from the situation happening, but if he's showing that there's no damage to the trachea and there's no that it wasn't through asphyxiation, isn't that heavy? Doesn't that hold a lot of weight?
I thought one of the medical examiners was also not in cross by the prosecution, but one of the prosecutor's witnesses was stating that it was very clearly asphyxiation that killed them. compounded by
sure.
heart failure, like
Lack of getting the oxygen. I understand that. That's what I'm saying. But the knee actually crushing the esophagus down and preventing the air to get through. It wasn't the knee. It was
the restraint.
It was the chest compression.
Like, again, from my understanding of it, you don't need to crush someone's trachea to choke them out. Like, I mean, we've seen MMA fights where you're not actually damaging someone's
I
lung.
mean, you could
but
choke
if they
yourself
hold,
right now and feel the difference in your ability to breathe. Right?
Oop, that's my kink.
For real though.
but yeah, like you don't need.
We miss
to
you, David
sit-
Carradine. We miss you. Sorry. I gotta still crack jokes in this. Can't be all serious, guys.
Yeah. So like, there's other ways to go and accomplish the same end, and he clearly did not act the correct way that he should have.
Oh, great.
Additionally, so stating that they had a lot of fentanyl in their system. You ever seen someone on fentanyl? They fucking sleepy. They're not resisting.
They're sleepy. He's operating a motor vehicle,
Yep.
but three
Sure.
times.
So what the point on it? Also the amount, the dosage that they actually give people. Let's assume if it was 3 times that he would have died from, and we would have said it was an OD. How is he functioning?
Right.
So clearly, it's the amount that they're actually deciding, or I don't know if it was the
You slipped him. You
Just-
slipped it in the 8 minutes and 22 seconds he was on the ground.
exactly. Yeah, when his hands were restrained and also behind his back,
Right.
he just it was in a cyanide capsule in his tooth.
Right.
Crack
Crack that foot.
I can crack those jokes too.
I believe it.
But yeah, so when my mom was in hospice, she was on a lot of fentanyl that was being prescribed to her.
Mm-hmm.
Just slept. So the position of he would have OD'd. I mean, maybe in the same position though.
But it's not.
We're not medical
not-
professionals or doctors, so
yeah,
it's
we're-
hard for
we're-
us to.
this is
It's
all
not what he
conjecture.
died- It's not what he died
That's
from.
exactly.
That's what you're trying to say.
Is that the concept of
Not saying it's what he died from, but could have played a factor
It doesn't-
in his body's reaction.
Sure.
and how-
Your lack of eating fruits could be a factor in you. You had a vitamin C deficiency and you accidentally stepped off a curb and got hit by a car.
Right.
Sure, anything's a factor. The fact that it was cloudy could have been a factor in his death.
Sure. Right.
You have a vitamin. That's your your two that you connect to the.
Truth be told, yeah, you could. Scurvy, vitamin C deficiency, go for it.
Okay.
Are you okay? You got real red right
It was just. It's funny.
Are you asphyxiating?
Yeah,
are you getting the
I-
appropriate amount of oxygen?
I can't breathe. Start wearing it on your face masks.
I don't know if you saw with the Oakland Raiders after the guilty verdict came out.
First of all,
they came
I don't
out
give
and
a
said-
fuck about the Oakland Raiders. They're fucking trash, and they play dirty fucking football, and they're not respected. So, what'd they do? What woke shit did they do?
I can breathe.
I can breathe. Wow,
That was a data
they're so
concussion.
fucking smart. Did they think of that through all 9,000 of their concussions that they get every year? Oh my god, no! I fucking hate the Raiders.
That's how you feel with the Raiders.
So
I mean, that actually should be another topic itself. Traumatic brain injuries.
I would
NFL.
done with that. Basically, don't do it anymore, really. But
does the NFL as a company have an obligation to?
Teams are privately owned, so I don't really care what they do.
Okay, that's fair.
Or most teams.
I mean,
most teams are privately
I'm
owned.
talking post-retirement.
Hmm.
Having any kind of obligation for
yes,
care, for special care.
it's our employees.
Now they're retired from the NFL, though.
I think so.
They continue to receive medical benefits from the NFL.
I think so.
Sorry, I just had a bunch of delicious food in my mouth. But truth be told, I don't know. Waiters.
Taking more of this.
Injuries received in the performance of your job should be cared for by your job. That's bottom line.
So you think they should all be processed like workman's comp sort of claims?
I'm not. This isn't blocking us, right? It's in the. It's fine. Okay.
So, truth be told, I don't know. Because
But do they walk in knowing that
that is a valid possibility of their actions.
they walk in knowing that that's a hazard. Like you're gonna get running back,
What?
you're gonna get smashed like every
So
down.
most,
Every down.
So that's the most traumatic brain injuries are actually from O-line. And,
Oh,
that's-
right. I'm just saying,
So I
you
guess
know,
so.
walking in what you're signing up for, but you also know that you're not going to get compensation for it later in life when you are drooling in your chair and lose your motor functions and because you took a couple
You
too many to
effectively
that.
were hit by a car every single
4 minutes.
But I mean, if you receive that same injury in the military, they would take care of you.
Fun fact, they don't.
Yeah, they do.
They will assess the degree of your disability and then will scale how much they pay based on that.
Well, veteran associations are built around the idea of doing that at the very least.
VA is trash.
It should be
So weirdly enough,
agree.
it should be better.
in the same token that football players should be taken care of.
I want this to
Pay
be
them less.
smoked.
Pay them less. I'm fine with that.
Every time I bite
Smoked
into
Gouda.
this. Every time I bite into this Gouda, I'm like, you should be smoked Gouda. They should only sell smoked Gouda.
I've had way too many bad smoked Goudas.
Boar's Head smoked Gouda is the best smoked Gouda.
Yeah, I got one from Aldi's, which, truth be told, like Aldi's cheese selection.
Oh, they
is
got going.
fire.
Fire, yeah.
But they had like a maple smoked Gouda, and I'm like, these are all the things that I like. This is gonna be great. Garbage.
Garbage. Boar's Head smoked Gouda.
Even though Boar's Head
Perfect.
is a big brand, it's pretty fucking good. Those little Boar's Head charcuterie dishes we got from Outer Light, those are really good.
So part of my each year, I typically like going to several breweries for my birthday and doing like charcuterie stuff.
See, why can't I just fucking have that for my bachelor party? Just go around Rhode Island, Mass, and Connecticut, go into craft breweries, eating charcuterie, and then we fucking go to the Mohegan after and party.
That sounds incredible.
That's what I want. And they're all like, no, let's get him tripped on acid and just watch him. Fucking weirdos.
We actually were thinking peyote.
Peyote.
And
Can you even fucking find that shit in this state?
I don't know.
Don't you gotta go out with a...
We'll make it work. A
No.
shaman? That's ayahuasca.
No.
I want to say that Travis is playing a character.
Does,
right now.
do any of you know fucking
None of
Danny
us do
Trejo?
actually,
Danny
yeah.
Trejo probably has some shit like that. Like, he just seems like a guy who's...
Why do you think he seems like the guy who was it because he's a giant Spanish dude who goes by shit?
No, he's not giant.
Yes.
He's short.
But also,
Yeah, he's
he
pretty
plays
short.
a...
I always
In
thought
the
he was, like,
movie-
huge.
In the movie Fanboys,
He's
he
like-
plays an Indian that gives all the guys peyote on their travel to Skywalker Ranch.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why it just comes to my head that Danny Trejo just always
Carrie
has...
Fisher was a nurse in that
He,
movie.
yeah. And Lando Calrissian was also in there too.
Mhm. And William Shatner is the one who gets them on the trail.
He's the secret source. Watch Fanboys. Great underrated movie. No one really knows about
It is a very underrated movie, especially because it's
Darth
about
Maul
trying
is the
to
security guard.
Yep, Roy Park. And
Roy Parker's right.
he also plays Toad in the live-action 20th Century Fox X-Men movies. But anyways, that's side topics now. Derek Chauvin.
Derek Chauvin, Fanboys.
I'm surprised that all three stuck. I was expecting two and manslaughter to be the ones.
Two and manslaughter. I just think manslaughter should...
Manslaughter is like open and book, without a question.
Without a
He
question,
should
yes.
be on
Manslaughter's fine. I get it. But the problem is when they came back in, like, I don't know, 30 minutes, it's like,
10
oh,
hours.
Was it 10 hours?
Yes.
Okay. Well, either way, that's still short. That's short for a trial of this long. 10 hours
So
of deliberation. That's quick
do you want to know how
for the severity of the crimes at stake. That's quick. At that speed, it should have been known that it was like all three are going to be convicted.
people were genuinely expecting it to take less time?
Really? Because
Yeah.
a couple lawyer friends and legal friends I've talked to is just like, oh, at 10 hours, that's unheard of for this magnitude of a trial. Like, fuck, even Casey Anthony lasted longer than 10 hours. Like, and that was
Gacy had 45 minutes.
And that Casey Anthony?
John Wayne Gacy.
Oh, John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah,
As I said,
45
Casey
minutes.
Anthony was like a long time, and it's like, and that was pretty like she fucking killed that kid. Like,
So that's the thing is, so there was the
Simpson trial was only 4 hours.
when OJ got let off
He got off.
and proceeded to write a book of
if
How
I
I would've
this is
done it.
how I did it.
okay, so are we on accordance that OJ and Casey Anthony are both super guilty, and
Yeah.
the system just failed in those two cases?
Yes, without a doubt.
Yeah, definitely.
The dude who went on a boating trip and killed his wife.
Oh, that was Scott. It was here in Connecticut, right?
Peterson.
Connecticut. Scott Peterson.
I think so. Well,
Not Jordan Peterson.
No, they're from. I thought they were from Connecticut,
Okay.
but he did it. He killed her in California
Yeah,
or something.
Scott Peterson.
No, and Lacey Peterson was the wife. I think.
And
No, like no time at all was dismissed.
wasn't that was family too? Didn't the daughters die too or something? I thought he killed the
I
family.
thought he just killed his wife.
I thought it was. Can you look that up here on the career?
Yeah.
With Scott Peterson, I thought it was his whole family. That was the
Oh,
wife
no.
and the 2 kids.
Like,
My fucking computer's listening because I typed Scott and Peterson is the first thing that came out.
Thanks, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, and the elite. Let me get my tinfoil hat. See, this is what we need this down here. Tinfoil hat. And like, all right, now for our new segment, tinfoil hat conspiracy time.
First degree of his wife, second degree of his unborn son.
Yeah, okay, there was a kid. I'd be like, oh,
well,
In womb,
unborn son.
unborn son.
so his kid.
So that's
Yeah,
why
killed his pregnant wife.
that's why that case is so I think important and why it comes up in our heads because what constitutes killing an unborn child,
How long?
The abortion doctor does it is fine, but
No,
if
so
he
that's
does
the
it,
thing, is
it's a crime.
depending on when.
That's
it
the
is
problem
imposed.
for me. That's
I agree with you.
that's the argument. It's like,
I
how
agree
can it be
with
one way, not the
We
other?
don't agree with the answer to that question, but we agree that it's a problem.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that there is clearly a hypocrisy in rule and law there.
Yes.
Okay.
But I would say
We just you still disagree as to what constitutes life and
Yes.
Okay, that's fine. We wanted to get on that train, but at least we can see that you can't have your cake and eat it. Like you can't have to be both
I
ways.
agreed.
I would just say a quick kind of closing.
But
thought
can
on
I
that.
ask one question? And we're not gonna get on Terry. Why? I guess you're against third trimester.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
because there's some people that are just like
overwhelmingly, I think most people are against third
okay,
trimester.
because there
The
are
only
some
abortion-
people I've literally debated that says at any point in time during the pregnancy, it's not your body.
I think-
The sovereign body of the woman takes precedent, and I'm just like, why is it okay 1 second before birth, but 1 second after birth, it's a crime? That's my
So,
argument
okay.
there. It's
I-
only to that small
Yeah.
percentage of people that say at any point in time, as long as it's not out of the womb, it's not a baby. And it's like, we take a picture, it looks like a baby.
I mean, like, you want a very graphic parallel where I would probably draw my arbitrary line. If the baby was removed from the mother, so like, let's say
Oh, wow.
mother dies,
Are you giving it a time frame? It has to survive on its own before you can.
not like fully on its own. No baby survives on its own.
Or, yeah, but it's like, hey, it's got to
So, like-
chill for 20 minutes, and if it's still kicking and doing its thing,
Like 8 years.
it's alive.
No.
Okay.
I mean, like, put it into ICU stuff. Like, do something to that degree.
Sure.
Like, yeah, I mean, there are premature babies all the time.
Yeah.
Why do we go and draw this distinction off? That said, overwhelmingly, almost all of the abortions that take place in the third trimester are to parents who want the children or want the child.
Yeah.
It is, this will kill you if you have this child.
Or this child will have.
Or this
or
child,
he'll-
yeah, it'll kill you, and maybe the child will have horrific birth defects and may not survive outside. And in those instances, it is devastating and heartbreaking to the family because they,
I know some
Gen-
people that just have never recovered from it. It's still
Yeah.
just emotionally traumatizing.
that would be very, very tough. I couldn't even fathom the heartbreak that those families are going through. Now, that said,
Because you, as a father, when you're feeling it kick, you're feeling it move, when you put your hand or your head on her stomach, it becomes very real to you at that moment. I can't speak. I'm not a father yet.
Karen's not a father.
yeah.
Not a father yet, but we're smart enough to conceptualize what that will emotionally do
Sure.
to you,
For sure.
especially as a male who has empathy for children and in general.
And I think with that, though, as I said, most, like a disproportionate amount of third trimester abortions are made at like
For medical,
heartbreaking. Yeah,
okay.
yeah, they're not like, I'm due next week. How about we just
But there's this dope party on the roof of Foxwoods. So I got
yeah, like I don't think anyone actually does that. What few cases that may exist, I think, are anecdotal at best and not and representative of actual trends.
How dare you destroy the Republican narrative?
That said, in those instances, and this is why I see the position that many people on the left take of saying, like, no, it should be legal all the way up to it, does not mean that they are forcing abortions onto it. They want it so that that doctor doesn't lose his medical license for trying to save a mother who they're all like, you will die through this. So like that's why the legal position is there, and that's why I actually adhere to that position on it.
I do, but I think it's like I understand the need to want to qualify that at the very least. Like
Yeah.
conditionals or something like that. I don't know.
That's a Jake. Since we're talking about loss of life, Derek Chauvin, what's your position on the?
I mean, I'm
I'm
pretty much in agreement.
That's why we keep you
I
around.
really,
You're good at tying shit together.
because
I don't know. I had a really bad one actually earlier. I was trying to explain
oh yeah,
the
you
fucking
just talked at me for like 20 minutes.
yeah. It was about like a Bert Kreischer joke,
Yeah.
and
What, he talked at you?
yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah,
it,
yeah.
it was not even a conversation. It was me just like
He word raped me earlier tonight.
He was trying to close a reference out. I don't even know what the reference was anymore because it had been so long since he started telling his story.
Yeah, so anyway, so that's how I got out of jail. Like, what? You didn't even talk about that.
Exactly, essentially. With Derek Chauvin, I definitely struggle with the murder 2 charge.
so you started with murder 2.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree that murder 3 doesn't make any sense either. But murder 2, I feel like I'm.
What other felony was he willingly, knowledgeably committing? To me, like you're not going into a liquor store with a gun, knowing that someone could die while committing that. What other felony?
Assault.
Yeah.
He's a cop, and you have to
That's
restrain.
fuck that.
Hold on. No.
Fuck that.
I'm not saying his tactic was sound.
No, I mean,
I'm saying, but
it's-
cops have literally had to slam people down the ground, tase them, get them
Sure.
subdued. Because
Okay.
we have a buddy that's a cop, and he always says you can never relinquish control of the situation. You must always be 1 to 3 steps ahead of them in both strength and power and awareness. And that might even mean
there's a concept of escalation of force that's being honest. If someone has a knife, you have a gun. If
correct.
You've got a taser. They're unarmed. You have a taser.
Right.
Like,
So he explains to us, and so it's like, and it comes off being a cop. It can be a brutal, aggressive,
Sure.
but
physical
it does not
job.
exempt you from the law.
Right.
I'm not saying
That's
exempt you from the law, but now you're
That
doing
is
this.
the
what
art.
you're
That is
saying.
what you just said. Though.
I'm saying he, as a policeman, did use tactics to subdue the individual, and he did handcuff, and they pinned down. Sometimes it's 3 or 4 of them on him.
Yep.
After
I get
he
that.
was subdued,
That happened
he
with
was still aggressive.
Michael.
I
Brown.
agree. That's where I agree.
So it was assault.
Yeah. So excessive force and like again, I very much I always enjoy talking with our friend.
Who will remain anonymous on
Yeah, I think that's kind of what he actually asked.
Yeah.
But I always love talking with him about it, stuff like this, because like I do get that as an arbiter of the law and the legal system in place, you need to be there to enforce such things. Sure, I disagree with the idea of like, oh, he used improper tactics. Okay, so he violated what he's supposed to do. It wasn't as though he was like, oh yeah, I came up to someone for a traffic stop and shot them. That was in Brooklyn Center, like during this trial, when that lady screamed taser and then shot a guy in a spot.
Right.
Now,
Speaking of which, I have another. Continue.
That would be illegal and wanton and gratuitous use of force. That would be that setup on it. So I think the argument that the prosecution made was Derek Chauvin did everything that he was not supposed to do. Once you had him handcuffed on it, their own policies and procedures state like, you're in control of the situation, you can get up and like handle this. You're supposed to administer care to ensure that he's on that, and he refused and denied people the ability to do so.
Right. And I think
So like that's where when you're trying to go and establish a case on it, it's all of the little things adding up.
But did he go? The argument here is, I know it's what he ended up happening, but when you walk into the liquor store with the gun, knowing what you're going to do, compared to he pulled him over, did he know? Can they prove with a reasonable doubt to a jury that he knew pulling over this individual that it was going to escalate to this point, and know that he was going to take that
trained procedures and the policies in place of the Minneapolis Police Department were, and then he violated them.
so. I have something to add to that. Is that
he didn't violate them pre-event. He violated them
during event?
during
During
the event.
event. And
Whereas
continued
the person with the gun walking in, which is murder 2, knows walking into this, I'm carrying this gun and going to assault this person with the gun in the liquor store to get the money. And
I think the person
That's-
who goes into a liquor store with a gun to rob them, murder is not on their list.
No.
It's,
No, but
I
it's
want
still
that money.
no. It's not that the gun can
shit.
still go off, or if that owner in a struggle dies due to injuries, that it's still murder too because you're attaching a second felony to it.
I think-
That's the point I'm saying. Is
What I'm saying though is what I'm going to say here is that what sort of build off
Also
what Travis
robbery
is
is-
saying. What kind of sticks with me is that upon no longer following the procedures of his department, he's no longer acting as a police officer. That's the
Sure,
thing.
sure, I can
So
see
in
that.
my mind, he's no longer covered by the
Collective immunity.
collective immunity of a police officer because he's no longer being a police officer.
Yeah.
okay.
And again, a lot of the prosecution's case here was trying to go and establish this wasn't random. He knew this person. He could have established and been like, all right, you're on a shit ton of fentanyl. You're on the ground. Face first, I'm fucking kneeling on you. And then going through all of it, what their job was simply to establish he was no longer acting in the correct and using the appropriate escalation of force. I think there was like a couple different
So
expert witnesses who all said like these are all
I
not.
understand that sentence that you just said.
Mm.
Now, is that equal and worth murder too? That's my.
Yeah, it's like 10 years in prison.
That. It's your.
He killed someone.
I understand. I just acting outside of police protocol equals murder too. It's tough. It's just tough. It's just tough.
So if put it
Because
in
I think there's
perspective,
more clear cut cases of murder
if
too.
I did that,
If he did that, exactly. If Chavez did that,
there was a dude on the street who
you worked with before.
who I interacted with, and I did that, it would be an open and shut case that I would have got murdered to.
Yeah.
But I assaulted this dude and then killed him.
Mm-hmm.
I may not have tried to kill him initially. But
You
he
also-
died.
But
Again, the
came with
counter
the
argument-
intention- You came with the intention to do aggression to this person, and that ended in their death.
Right, but did Chauvin subdue him with the intent? That's the problem I'm just having.
And that is the question that was being
because up to a
debated.
certain point he did follow police protocol. Up to a certain point,
Yep, up to a point. And then
And it-
why did he deviate?
that's manslaughter. That's your careless, reckless actions.
Careless
yes.
and reckless actions
Of
would
not taking
exist,
your knee off of him when after the
but
subdue
he's
and not
supposed to
following the
be
protocol.
a trained professional
I understand.
administrator.
I think it falls in the
So
line
he-
of manslaughter.
So
more.
he's aware of the possible outcomes of his actions. That's what the difference is, right? He's a trained professional. He knows what he's doing could kill this person. If he is the trained professional he's supposed to be, you know.
And that's what he willingly did it anyways. Now that said, I did actually, and this is more just kind of like an appreciation of legal arguments, I did find it interesting that the defense was stating that because of the crowd and all of the agitation going on around it, because of the fact that this was in the midst of several very prolific police brutality cases. Remember, I think Breonna Taylor was like around that same time as well.
Not too far off.
So like I think the defense was stating like they were concerned for their own safety, and that's why he deviated. He was following everything correctly, but the moment that he's like, shit, we're being surrounded by a bunch of angry people, you start trying to evaluate the big picture on it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I could see that being what gets him off 2 of these charges. Manslaughter, there's no way he's getting off that.
I agree.
So I'm like, that's the piece that's there. Which is why I was surprised that he got convicted.
I have 2 questions now. If it was only manslaughter that got put through, do cities burn? Let's say they go manslaughter 5 years. Do cities burn?
I mean, it's one of the first ones to actually be convicted, so I don't know.
I don't.
Will people say he's a white cop? That's why he's getting off. White supremacy, patriarchy, bullshit, whatever things that can come off. All that. It's the system protecting the cop and the law enforcement.
Here's
Truth
the
be
problem.
told, many of the convictions in Minneapolis against police officers who used excessive force, their actions caused the deaths of individuals. All of the prior convictions were of officers of color.
Mm-hmm.
None of them lit. Also, I do think that that's if he were to be, even if he got off
Because
manslaughter.
people would say that's such a cakewalk. That's nothing.
So
George Floyd would deserve it. I think there would be Target's by Target. Get you what you need at Target now because it's not gonna be there tomorrow.
So I don't think if they had got one of the murder charges and manslaughter, cities they wouldn't have burned. Like you can say like
Murder
justice
and
was
manslaughter.
done, murder and manslaughter, like this happened. And this is kind of like a whole other question that I always have when it comes with you're effectively being convicted of the same crime. He killed one person. Why is he getting both murder and manslaughter? But I know that it's compounding elements to it. It's everyone. Yeah. So
Do you think they said let's just throw the book at it and see what sticks?
I think that absolutely that's what the prosecution did.
They said let's just throw it all up there and
If we get it, we get it. And that's, truth be told, that is kind of how prosecutors function. They're like, one of these charges is going to stick. And like, I think they knew manslaughter was going to. The question was,
could we get
second,
him for more?
third, yeah, can we get him for more?
So the utilitarian view on this is very different.
Which would be?
That regardless of what we believe is the actual outcome of that, did Derek Chauvin being convicted fit utilitarian goodness? Like, is it for the greater good that he got convicted?
It sets legal precedent on what actually drives convictions for things.
Sure. Secondly, it reinforces the severity of excessive force being used in police departments, and maybe encourages.
Do you think there's people here that have renewed faith in the system, saying, "Wow, the system maybe actually does work"?
Sure, exactly.
I'm saying the utilitarian from that viewpoint.
From a argument, yes, sure, that could be. That could
Like,
be
I have restored faith, thank God.
Sure,
Okay,
that could be
I was worried there for a
Yeah.
second.
And then also, even to your point, if the cities were going to burn, we stopped that from happening. So like the pure hard.
That to me just sounds like mob rule.
100%. Oh, good. I'm
Like
disagreeing with
mob, we don't want to piss off the mob, which happens
you. The opposite argument.
to majority be on one political spectrum more than the other.
I disagree.
I disagree with your disagreement.
Who stole the
riots.
Capitol? Yeah.
Who actively engaged in
Oh, I'm
acts
sorry.
of
Yeah, you're
sedition.
right. There was one on January 16th, but I forgot all from May to December. I forgot about all
None of
those.
those stormed the Capitol.
I forgot all about
None
multiple
of-
cities, every other
none
night
of-
different.
none of
My
those.
town in Brockton, Mass.
Oh,
Different-
none
I-
of them stormed the Capitol, and weirdly enough,
One. You're naming one, and I can name 18 that happened in 5 months.
Those assholes in Oregon who stormed a federal building,
Yeah.
took it over and destroyed a bunch of Native American.
You got
homes,
2,
so.
16 more. Because
I can come up. I will come back with a list for next episode of all of the instances
But
of
even more
right-wing
so,
terror,
like, it was-
to the point that the Department of Justice
That little-
registered
that little
alt-right
arms,
groups
that little,
as terrorist organizations.
that little Oregon militia takeover is nothing compared to Kenosha, nothing compared to Baltimore, nothing compared to Minneapolis, nothing compared to.
How many people died in the Minneapolis riots, by the way?
I don't have the number. I don't have a laptop in front of me. I couldn't tell you.
I can. None. Outside of the people who originally died as parts of it. Was there wanton property damage? 110%.
Yeah.
Like, without a doubt that was like...
$110 million percent.
But also,
But that
let's
said,
talk
how
about
much
their
is one of those
protest.
lives left?
Right.
People were protesting because they felt that there was a massive systemic injustice being perpetuated throughout it.
An actual
I
police
I
state.
disagree
That-
with the louder you scream, the more justified you are.
I
disagree with that
very
concept.
much agree with your position, your opposition to that. I feel the same way.
There's no truth to that to me.
That said,
And if we
isn't that the point of protest?
For the unheard to be heard.
I understand. Yeah, I understand the concept of Martin Luther King. Actually, it's a quote in one of my books. I wrote books, guys. I don't know if you knew that. Is riots are the voice of the unheard.
Right.
Yes.
Like I understand the moral principle and truth of it, but it just that form of protest directly clashes with my libertarian view of personal private
But
property.
you're okay with the Capitol riots.
I've never said I was okay with it. I'm just saying it's funny. Yeah, there was one big one of ours that hit the. I say ours like it was me, but like on the more rights of people on the right.
No,
Then
even with that though, people died in those riots.
yeah, people died in the other ones too. Like there were a lot. There's over connected to all the riots from the summertime all the way up. 400 deaths.
A shit ton of people die in Chicago. Like 400 people die in Chicago in a week, and we're gonna just roll those up into it as well.
So, my second question, besides the first one I had, what was that?
Keeps dropping cheese.
Oh, Jesus.
They're wasting all the cheese.
I'm gonna eat it. Fuck it.
CNN, the media, which I believe is far biased to the left, didn't scratch. I mean, Fox News did because they went ham with this story. Didn't cover Breonna Taylor's mother's statements of saying,
Yeah, she
fuck,
disagrees with
fuck Black Lives Matter. They are fraudulent. They didn't help me or my daughters. They used my daughter's death as propaganda for their own political biases, and she's not a fan of them.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking crickets. Like, really, in the grand scheme of things, I understand there's a big case going on with Derek Chauvin, that's where the real focus is.
Yeah.
But that's important. That to have a black woman say that was of the mother of a woman who was the banner for Black Lives Matter along with George Floyd during this past summer, say, no, they're hacks. And because that just, don't you think it just goes against the narrative? Don't you think that's a problem?
No, because she herself is still in support of actually seeking justice for the causes that's there. She can disagree with the organization that has come out of it.
Correct.
110%, without a doubt.
I'm for that. I understand
Yeah.
that. But shouldn't the media point that out? Does the media have the right, not the right, the obligation to say, hey, this is the next of kin of this person who is not a fan of this organization, that you've taken this woman to be the mantle and face of your organization for a fair amount of time, and they're not feeling it. Like, shouldn't it get more cover? Like, shouldn't that really get more cover? I think that frustrates me. That bothers me.
So I guess my first point of inquiry, I guess, for additional clarification on it is, when people say, like, oh, I don't like Black Lives Matter, who the fuck are they talking about?
I agree. That's a very broad brush stroke.
Yeah, because it's like, in that position, her stating she did not like very radical leftist people co-opting her daughter's likeness for their own political agenda. I probably would also disagree with that.
Mm-hmm.
That said, you can also maintain the setup that Black lives do matter, and that this systemic violence against people of color is an issue that needs to be addressed. So
I have an issue with the two founders who, during live seminars, said we openly encourage our foot soldiers to read Marx and to we encourage them to take
I encourage people to read Marx. I don't mean
they don't mean it like that. That's not how they meant it. Like, to take in his teachings, like in the sense of that form of oppressor and oppressive, bourgeoisie, proletariat. That's when you come out and just flat out say that. That to me is dangerous. I don't like that. I don't like that the founders have between them 4 multi-million-dollar homes. I mean, I'm fine. It's hypocritical to me, at least.
There's several quotes that kind of like running through my head right now. One is, I don't know if it was Marx or it was another, probably Trotsky. I think this one's actually Trotsky related. That ultimately the biggest hindrance to sort of proletariat revolutions, uprisings, and so forth, pro-workers movements, is that the ruling classes demonstrated that their true the enemy of the working class is not themselves, not the bourgeoisie, but other workers. You saw it in the U.S. with countless union busting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying that the moment that you can go and stop workers from realizing that they have a say in the means of production, or they're involved in that they actually have power that could be leveraged for better working conditions, higher wages, to establish things, whatever the goal is. So in that position, like, I think everyone should read Marx. I don't think that you should go and adopt idea. Like, I don't think anyone should take an idea at face value. They should be able to at least.
You should 100% read Marx, because you have to know what bad ideas are.
I would like to show you the art of the deal.
But like, they did the same thing with the AIDS epidemic too. Like there's these constant
Victim blame.
victim blaming scenarios that happen in this country. That's pushed from a bourgeoisie of sorts, right? Like a upper class of people who make more money or have more political power. And they use these things there's plenty of evidence out there that demonstrates that the AIDS epidemic the stories around it came from a top-down, use this for
they
control.
were exacerbated and
Right.
perpetuated by people who were benefiting from it. A crack epidemic as well.
Same thing, yeah.
I would also
Think about
even
the expanse of power in the prison system that happened during the AIDS epidemic. You know?
So why
More
are
on-
these
more on
oppressive,
drugs in total.
elite, rich? I think there's an undertone of expressing that it's probably white males allowing this to happen to the white community with the opioid crisis currently. Why are they allowing it to happen?
because
If
it's
they're in
not-
control,
it's not
if
white
it's,
people.
if they're
The opioid
It's
crisis
not
is-
white people.
No.
It's
No,
rich
no, no,
people.
no, no.
It's
It's
rich
rich
people.
it's
Nope. I can
It's-
tell you right
it's
now.
rich. It's-
Green recognize green.
Yeah,
That's it.
I understand, but let's also call space. I think from what I was reading,
Was it gonna be a spade?
it is affecting whites
Or white
more.
people in the South.
Yes.
And weirdly enough, we're treating that one with the most empathy we've ever treated any of the other ones with.
Right? We've
Ah,
identified
not-
that.
Definitely. Absolutely. Prince died of it. We care about it now.
Yes.
I mean,
Cool,
from my stance would be just not even legalize. My whole stance is just legalize everything.
I mean, yeah, that's all of our stances. you
So
know. Yeah.
I think. I mean, I'm also like then tax it.
we
So
are
like asterisk
Tax
then
it,
tax it.
track it.
Yeah.
You don't know who's buying it.
I mean, I feel
legalize
that way-
it. I'll advise you to not do it because it'll fuck up your life.
Yeah.
But
I mean, you saw it
you
in
still
Portugal.
can't
Like,
tell you how.
Portugal's a great example.
Portugal's a fantastic example.
So like that said, though,
Even New York City is implementing the get your fix late night. You come in, get your correct dosage of heroin, and then go out your merry way.
Yeah, that's all over Maine.
It's just
we live in a town where the
in
heroin
Boston, too.
epidemic tore through this place, and one of the most successful organizations, kind of not fighting against it, was the needle exchange.
Give
They're
pain
like,
needles.
You're not going
you're not gonna stop
from doing it.
the action of doing it. So you
So
might as
Try
well.
to do it, mitigate as much harm as you can,
Right.
and that, I mean, we don't have people ODing and passed out on the sidewalks.
But that to me,
anymore.
that sounds very volunteerism in general,
It was.
and a very libertarian move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because the state was not doing anything for it. The city, I believe, did subsidize a lot of the stuff from the needle exchange. Same with the.
I feel like there has to be some level of government oversight to it, but at least to me, it's not federal or state. It went as communal as you could, the small as you could go before getting.
Mostly, again, it's because the state refused to acknowledge that this was a thing.
Yeah.
And it only actually, the city,
Take
truth be
60
told, only
take
was the 60 minutes.
60 minutes. Do you know 60 Minutes is a special on Willamette?
I had to in school.
No.
Watch Heroin Town.
No, well,
That's what
yes,
it's called, yeah.
but we had to do a project called Hero in Town.
That's adorable.
And I got Jake to audibly laugh very loud. That was
It's
great.
fucking great.
Hero in town, and we had to find
Great
somebody
wordplay.
that was
A hero in town.
someone that was contributing positively to Willimantic. I thought it was
That's
clever,
actually a very good project,
It
too.
is, but it's
but
like,
it was my junior year of high school.
It's a good project, I think, without the name. The name is fucking cringe as fuck.
No, I think the name sells it.
I do like the shitty wordplay, to be honest.
And then,
I really like that.
we had the picture of the person, and then our report overview of them on the hallway wall, like, and you could walk by and read.
did you
who-
do?
Did we acknowledge
Oh
the,
God,
did
I
we
don't remember.
acknowledge
This
it?
was junior year of high school, bro. I was 16, 15. This was almost 20 years ago.
Did they acknowledge the wordplay? Like, they like obviously.
I'm assuming
That was the
it's-
point.
Yeah.
No.
Because the Heroin Town came out,
Yeah.
and 60 Minutes did their thing.
So everyone
and
knew about it.
Everyone knew about it, and we're like, this sucks because it was like
We're more than just this.
We're more than just this. We have the Gilson Square at that time, the theater or so, but we had like so many cool things. Street Fest. We're really actually pretty vibrant community.
Right.
We're not this bleak thing. Like there's, I understand it's the most heroin per capita, but there's definitely more heroin in Hartford, and there's more in New Haven than there is Willimantic.
Well, it's like-
in
So
pure number.
even now is like
Go down.
as well. It's,
In New York,
it's wild.
way down.
Right, yeah, but like even New York City, there's more heroin, but because we have a population of X amount and per usage, it was kind of a.
That's what per capita means.
I understand. Yeah, it's per capita. So there's a weird media spin that portrayed us in a bad light. So the school came up with, we're gonna do Hero in Town. Fuck your Heroin Town.
Yeah. I mean, I do always think that showcasing.
I forgot who I covered though. I really don't remember.
I do think that it is always good to showcase small towns and kind of the more uplifting side of things. So like there's a lot, as you said, like there's a lot going on in Willimantic that can help kind of break that stigma of people thinking that it's just like a.
It's up and coming. The new parking garage thing they're making with the economy condos they're going to be making for the college kids.
Yeah, this is why I want to start this shit now, Travis. I'm telling you, it's gonna when COVID really opens up, this is gonna be a place to be.
You want a craft, either cider meadery.
Yeah, I think that needs to happen.
Please suggest we have Comrade Red. We're gonna make a Comrade. We're doing all political.
So I came up with a good one. So it's not been working out so well so far, but so our friend Donson, who's been off camera on the podcast before, he goes and at the ends of like church food pantry things, he'll pick up like the leftover fruit and bring it over, and the idea was to make ciders out of this fruit, like mixed fruit ciders.
Yep.
And the name I came up with was Carbon Fruit Print.
Excellent.
It's like we could hit.
So I've been trying to,
I've
been continuously trying to think
category.
of funny, punny names for these cideries that we haven't even.
I feel like there should be just an Eat the Rich Red.
Yes.
Eat the Rich Red, not Comrade Red.
Comrade Red's very on the nose.
I got you.
Very loose.
So you already know what flavor of the meat that I made for your wedding is, right?
It was peach. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna call it impeach meat.
Impeach meat. Love it. See, I like that. That's clever.
Twice. How are we doing on time for this practice?
We are past an hour.
As you, I'm gonna ask a question, shove food in my mouth,
Yes,
and you're gonna answer the question, but then I'm not gonna be able to respond because I shoved food in my mouth.
So I guess we'll take a quick break then.
Quick break, come back, chat a bit more, and send you on your merry way.
All right.
Alrighty, thank you. We'll be back soon.
See you in a minute.
Stay classy, San Diego.
Here's the closing. Fuck you, San Diego. Or was it fuck you or fuck off?
Fuck yourself.
Oh, I thought we were on.
No, we're not, but now we are. Welcome back to Left Right Cab with your hosts, Jake Rudder,
The host with the most.
Tanner Hall,
and
myself, Travis Pajoli.
First half was Derek Chauvin, the case, debating the outcome and whether the charges should have stuck. We dabbled in a little bit of NFL health rights. We dabbled in some abortion.
Very minor abortion this time.
We just dabble a little bit. We don't want to get too sidetracked. This is our wine of the night, Arigoni.
So Arigoni is the vineyard in Portland, Connecticut. So it's pretty central. I think they grow most of their grapes locally for them.
High rating, high reviews. I have not had this butternut because I still have a ton of this one. I think I'm just going to drink this because I still have to drive. While we were off camera, we were just kind of shooting the shit and started talking about conspiracy theories. And so I think that's what we're just going to kind of maybe just bullshit a little bit about now and close it out.
Yeah.
Close out the show is what we think are some conspiracy theories. So did LBJ kill Kennedy? Is he a mastermind or a big player in it?
So truth be told, LBJ was the one who convinced him to go to Dallas. It was part of
his really good steakhouse there. You're going to love it.
Specifically, it was you need to go and demonstrate to the good people of the South that you're not some like scary Uber like because I mean Kennedy is Massachusetts.
Yeah, you are some elitist.
Yeah. And it took it, like, truth be told for myself, it took a lot for me to realize that there is kind of like a bias against the coastal elites, especially in places like Texas.
Yeah.
We don't like them Rockefellers.
Really, the heartland in general doesn't look overly kind on the West Coast or the East Coast, and especially sort of the New England intelligentsia. Like
True, but I think lately it's been like, they're seeing people flee from California and those elites to their Midwest states. Sure. Actually, the governor of Florida came out in a press conference. Yeah, in the Joe Rogans of the world. Did you see the governor of California? He came out in a press conference.
Of California or Florida?
Florida. Sorry.
That's Ron DeSantis.
He came out and he says, if you're coming to our state, please do not vote in the policies that you are fleeing from. It was like he just called it out, and it was just like
vote for them. push the only.
No.
Well, actually,
You're
that-
going to that. You're getting away from California because of those ridiculous high taxes, because of those ridiculous
So Vice actually put
property
out
laws, and
Vice put out a kind of piece on a lot of the California flight, and they're all like Second Amendment, small government Republicans who were just fleeing, like California. There was
My
one that
people.
they were talking about one.
tribalism.
There's a. She was the woman from Vice was interviewing a realtor in Austin. Like, Austin is very blue.
It is the blue of the heart of Texas.
Every major city in Texas is blue, which is funny. But
Austin is the
Austin,
poster
Austin,
child of
Austin
being a
is
liberal.
like the Portland, Oregon of the South.
That's where Joe Rogan went. Is Austin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, he wanted drugs. So with that though,
You like drugs? Are you down with the gays? Austin.
More or less. But when I was in watching this, the realtor was like, "This is a brand new development. Houses aren't even built yet. Every single one of them is sold, and disproportionately, there are people from California and New York." And I was,
So fleeing high taxation.
so I think the people in New York, because like the lady from Vice interviewed some people who had like scouted and were down there. They were like in Albany. They were in Rochester. Like that ain't New York City.
It's not. Nope.
But they were like, we want to be left alone, so we're gonna come here to the bluest city in Texas. I'm like, you want to be left alone? Go out to fucking Ruby Ridge, man.
Yeah,
They
but
want
the
to
thing
live in
is like
Texas, but they still want the amenities of living in a
They
local city.
still want
the city
all of the
amenities,
benefits that urbanization and
job,
liberal
probably better
policies.
job.
Yeah.
Jobs
Yeah.
out there. Yeah.
So with the job front, actually, one of the guys from California was talking about it. He can work remotely. He's like, I don't care where I live. I want to live in a place that's like good for me, and I like the policies. Specifically, he was saying he liked Texas's gun laws, but did not like the religion. And I was like,
You sound like Travis Pedro.
you're an interesting man. I still wouldn't move to Texas. Not in a fucking heartbeat. Place sucks.
Yeah,
So we,
boring
Ashley and
hot
I,
as shit.
actually,
boring as fuck outside.
I did when I went to Dallas. I went to the Dallas Open for Magic, and I stepped out of the airport and it was like walking on the fucking sun.
Yeah.
It was
So-
ridiculous.
Under normal circumstances, I have to go to Dallas yearly for work. And first time I went, I was with some people, and they were like, "Oh yeah, Yankee didn't do so well the last time he came to Dallas." I was like, "Hopefully they could just kill me too."
Well, it's because you dress like this wherever you go, though. So.
Yeah, it turns out wearing like black cardigans and jeans all year
It's
round
funny.
doesn't really fly.
Ashley's very adamant that she will always want to live on the East Coast or live near the ocean, even though we're pasty white and don't go to the beach. She
Just
just
the availability of it.
she likes that, I guess. But she said
Like
if there's
culture.
if there's one place that she would move that was landlocked, she doesn't want to live landlocked. Would be she just suggested Nashville. She thought there was very good art and music
It's still
and
pretty
culture
East Coast,
and
though.
restaurants, and
Yeah.
there's still
So
Still pretty East Coast, though.
my former coworker, I say that because like his last day was Friday. It's not like he's dead.
it's part of the Mid East.
Yeah, it's the Mid-Atlantic.
It's the Mid East.
So he lives in Nashville. Absolutely loves it. He and his husband are like, he was telling me that like pride is now becoming a more common thing. And he's like, first year, we were scared for our lives. He's like, 5-10 years later, it's practically just like another, any other East Coast city.
Mm-hmm.
So I think like, Nashville's getting there. Tennessee is a dumpster fire of a state altogether.
Memphis is much rougher than Nashville, but
Yeah, but even
Also-
Memphis
also
wasn't too
culturally
bad.
cold, though.
Yeah, there is very strong culture in the South.
I grew up in the South.
I am a
I spent 12 years.
Yankee through and through, but
I was in Arizona and Kentucky.
Florida.
sorry for one of them.
Me too. Oh yeah, you're a Florida boy. You're a Florida man.
My family's from Kentucky and Ohio, though.
Hang down
Sorry
there
for
with
those
with that swamp ape,
two.
Yep.
Skunk ape.
skunk ape, skunk ape.
Gonna make a reference, get it right.
It's the wine.
No.
The skunk
You
ape.
get your own trivia wrong, so.
That's true. Like I said, it's the wine. So back to those conspiracy theories.
Yeah,
That's a cryptid. We already did a cryptid
Yeah.
episode.
I wouldn't be surprised if LBJ was at least aware of it, but solely because of how quickly Jack Ruby then killed the Rebels.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we land on the moon?
Yeah.
Do flags
later,
do
later,
flags, do-
later,
the,
yes.
the original to
I-
win the Cold War.
I don't think
put it-
so.
I'm the same. There's a
I
lot of
think
evidence.
we have absolutely
Now.
But I think at that point in time,
There's flag waving. There's a great
so
Fox
think-
special.
think-
if you watch, it's on YouTube.
So-
that shows all
so
of the crazy stuff. It's great.
things do move in motion on it. Like so, like that is a very viable setup. I do think that would have worked. I have very strong hesitation on it because of how quickly things were transmitted back. Because they're like, we're seeing it live,
That's
everything's
wrong.
good.
The science behind the moon landing definitely happened.
I don't know.
All the
I
science
don't
signs
know.
up. There's no. It's like they'd have to.
It would have cost
On
more to fake it,
on
It costs more to
YouTube,
fake it,
there's
exactly.
which I could see.
please,
Like,
please watch. And I know it's gonna be like there's a flat Earth video. It's not what I'm saying.
Yes, you are.
Okay, no,
Totally
no.
right.
There's
that's
a
one we can all universally agree.
yeah, the flat Earth is
That's
crazy.
wrong.
But no. There's the Fox had a show like the moon landing hoax. Is it real? And they showed a lot of really very compelling evidence.
When you
A
cherry
lot.
pick data
Yeah,
points,
sure, yeah. But it was kind of watch it. I would at least watch it. So it's like 40 minutes.
The science behind the footage is like exactly. It would cost more. Would have cost more to fake it. Like, we really couldn't have faked a lot of small details about it. The footage from that time too. So it's pretty.
I just don't think we had the technology back then. I just don't think it existed.
I mean, truth be told, the
technology
military
to fly there was
Yeah.
easier than the technology to fake it. Honestly.
No.
Yeah.
Also keep in mind the I think it's like a 5 or 10 year gap for technology between
Public and
Some
public
people
and
Buzz
government.
Aldrin's punched in the face for telling them if they faked it.
Yes, I did see that.
Good.
Whatever you can do to
So-
sell it. They told Buzz, someone confronts you, punch it. 'Cause you got to sell it that you were there. Okay,
He's
gotta make
like,
people
I'm
believe.
non-violent. They're like, gotta do
Yeah,
it,
gotta
man.
do it. Otherwise, we kill your family.
No.
Oh shit. Yeah, we went.
No.
We were there. It was great.
No.
Took a rock.
Is there any
Yeah.
reason why they haven't been taken any kind of? Because we can with telescopes see galaxies far away. How there's no picture
You can see-
of the flag.
You can see it from a telescope.
The flag,
Not the flag. but-
not the flag, not from. I'm saying like
Also, it's a fucking flag. You can't even see this house from fucking like.
Google Earth.
no, that you can't. But
You can see it
From
from
looks at
Google
things.
Earth. You could see it. I'm almost certain of it.
I don't know.
That's one of my
But-
tinfoil
but
hats.
that's-
I
if
think
you-
the moon
if you-
landing. I think the
if you
original
aim-
moon landing was faked.
If you aim a high power shot,
It was to win the Cold
We
War
have the internet right
and to prove superiority.
So
and
what,
it
do you
was,
think-
it-
do you
the
think they
race
went
was
like
who
a
got
year
to the
later?
moon first,
Yeah.
and we shit our pants when they launched Sputnik, and
We
like
shit
oh
our
shit,
pants when Yuri Gagarin was the first person to walk in space.
yes, like
To
it
go
was
into
like
space.
wow, they're beating us. We gotta cut corners.
Now
I'm
that
really
said-
much on that. And it's literally backed by nothing other than that Fox special on YouTube. That's on YouTube.
Yeah,
Watch
I
it.
don't-
It's 45
I'm-
minutes. Great.
I'm
Smoke
more-
first, then watch it. You'd be like, this shit is fucking accurate.
Tell you what, I'll bet you LBJ paid fucking both Jack Ruby and Lee Harvey Oswald before that they truly faked all of it.
Fake
Fake
the moon.
Fake the moon landing. I'll take LBJ as some political mastermind over.
Well, the moon landing was Kennedy's promise.
Moon landing didn't happen.
He paid for it with
I'll
his
stand
life.
by it. I'm with it.
It fucking did. It did.
Yeah, it
It happened.
yeah.
How about we
It's another one.
we get a little bit of green, roll it up some night, put it on the
Not
TV
Fox
out
News.
there. No, not Fox News. Fox. Oh god, and watch this Fox special of the moon landing hoax faked.
I'll watch it and I'll tell you why it's wrong.
Just watch it.
All right. Well, anyways, other conspiracies. What's a good one?
Excluding things like Mark Zuckerberg is a lizard person.
That's
Yeah.
true though.
Well,
No,
that's-
he's not a lizard person.
He's a robot. Yeah. Elon Musk is a lizard person.
Yeah, Elon Musk is an alien.
When you met Grimes,
Yeah.
I don't know. Google up what are like good conspiracies. What are some?
Elon Musk is a lizard person mating with an alien. That's what. It is.
yeah. To create alien lizard hybrids.
Okay, this crisis actors. That's a conspiracy theory. Sandy Hook, the
Yeah.
Boston
As,
Marathon, and
as,
they
as someone who has lost
They-
friend
they-
in
I-
Sandy Hook,
No.
it is not fake. Alex Jones can
Suck a cock.
rightly be sued into oblivion.
okay. I'm just saying it is a conspiracy out there.
Yeah. that one I'm like hard
Okay.
and fast on.
Pedophile ring in Hollywood.
Probably true.
True.
Yeah.
Do you think there's enough actors coming out like Corey Feldman and
Oh, it's true. Definitely.
like saying,
Yeah.
like Kevin Spacey,
No,
Elijah Wood's coming out and saying
Of
this
course
stuff?
it's true.
Yeah, I think that people in positions of power will oftentimes try to push to see how far that power can get them. That's why I would also probably believe that there is, and this is about to sound like some QAnon shit.
So I got a list
Some
of 20
like
here. Let's go through them real quick.
cabal of like uber powerful politically tied people. I mean, fucking Matt Gaetz is currently being investigated, yet not criminally, for using government funds to fly a minor across state lines and ply them with drugs
Here's a
and
good one.
have sex with them. That's kind of
Aren't we all?
So I have a list of 20. We just pop through them, all right?
All right, here we go.
Number one is the Beatles never existed.
That's an conspiracy. There's actually people that put it.
Yeah.
I would say the Mandela effect is a more real conspiracy theory.
No,
that's because that is real.
The idea is that they're a
Yeah,
fake,
this universe has
they're
more of a
fake,
B
like,
feel.
studio,
You know?
studio band with a rotating cast of actors, sort of like the Monkees,
Not real.
Oh, that's so similar to the Monkees.
but like with more actors than not.
Not true.
Of course, not true. Yeah, but it's pop though.
Paul is dead. Miss him.
Miss-
Wait, why
This
can't
is-
this be Universe 1 and Universe 2? I don't know. It has more of a B.
Barack
feel.
Obama could control the weather.
What list are you looking at?
Jesus.
I love it.
Yes,
Uh,
it's true. Obviously, it's not even a thought. Like,
I don't know. We had a lot of bad
Apparently,
hurricanes.
Obama-
He must have been real angry.
Obama deliberately manipulated the weather to deflect attention away from the White House in times of scandal.
so can George Bush then, because he
All
had
presidents can control the weather.
he had what's it, the flood in New Orleans?
Katrina.
Katrina. Yeah.
Earth is flat. We always agree with that.
Earth and flat.
Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Saddam Hussein had a Stargate.
As a what?
The Stargate.
Had a Stargate.
I mean, he probably did, but I don't think it was functional.
Where are you finding this
I
list?
don't know, but
What
I like,
is
I,
this
like
list?
it.
I like that one.
Okay, likelihood
The
0.
second Gulf War was waged in order to close the Stargate owned by Saddam Hussein.
It's back on that.
Dear Christ.
Probably.
Okay,
It was
next. I
Desert
can't wait
Storm.
to hear this.
Saved by the Bell was a vehicle for the Illuminati. True. No question.
Is that why they killed Screech recently?
Oh my God.
It's riddled with hidden messages endorsing Satanism.
What the fuck? Okay.
There's hidden message in the theme tune. We had to pull it up here, but
When you wake up in the morning, make it on time.
it's
all
all right.
Praise
Satan.
Bob from it.
And give your soul to hell.
Sell your soul to
Everyone knows this
hell.
one. Hitler's still alive.
Okay. No. So there's
I'll
not
extend-
still
I'll extend
alive.
that to Nazis in general.
Not-
Like, that there are
not-
Nazis hiding in Argentina.
Yeah, not that he's maybe still alive today, but that he fled
Yeah.
and actually faked it and it wasn't real and went to Argentina. There's a whole show about that on History Channel. It's right after Ancient Aliens. It's fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
There is also a show on Amazon Prime called Hunters where they then go and kill all of these Nazis in hiding.
But
other theories say he died in '84 in Brazil, or he died.
I think he's too powerful and too rich to not have a plan B. Like, and too
I
too
think he
smart.
was
and
truly crazy.
The one thing here's the one thing that Nazis do that are very good. At least when there's order on the right,
Mm-hmm.
it's very. They're very orderly and they're very good at being orderly.
They
So-
were very good at mass exterminating people.
I understand that, but there's a philosophical theory that the right represents order and the left represents chaos. And I don't mean chaos in a bad way, but
Disorder. Like
the chaos meant to be change.
Change,
It's a good thing. It's actually a
Progression.
progression. It's actually a good thing. But I think it was how he operated, that he executed these plans rather, as horrific as they are, flawlessly.
Yeah.
he invaded Russia in winter.
I understand. I'm just saying, like, all the
The
general
greatest
picture.
military flaw ever created twice.
I understand,
Yeah.
but like, yes, I understand that you could poke holes in certain things, but I understand he did what he did systematically.
Sure.
It is from an academic standpoint astounding to think that he wouldn't have an escape plan if things started to fall apart in place, in contacts and confidants. It's silly. I think it's 100% very plausible. It's the first one on that stupid list when it's Saddam Hussein with a Stargate.
which he
that was
had.
fucking dope. Come on.
It was dope, but that could. It wouldn't shock me if they found evidence like, hey, we found this document that proved it was here.
Well, I could buy it.
Yeah.
I
Makes
could
sense.
buy
It's
it.
not sure. It's not surely true, obviously.
But it makes sense that
I can
that
see
would
why
happen.
people believe it. I don't because like there are documented instances of the German high command plotting on saying like Hitler has gone batshit.
Yeah, let's kill him.
We need to kill him.
Oh,
I think it's like I don't know if it's Overlord or if it's Valkyrie or something.
That's
One of them.
bunker.
Yeah, something.
earlier when we
So with
go.
one
What do you think?
closing thing on Hitler, I think like whatever terrible greatness that he had, he either lost or was unable to actually execute on these things, predominantly because I think it was the German intelligence community providing bad intel to them, saying like, you are winning the war on these, you are doing these things.
Yeah.
So when you have bad information, you make bad decisions. Because every single one of them, I mean, we saw it in China, we saw it in Japan, when you have truly despots who are waging sort of proxy wars elsewhere, and they're trying to be like, oh yeah, if you give them bad news, he's gonna kill you.
Yeah.
So it's like, well, I'm not gonna give you bad news. I mean, fucking Mao Zedong was another example of it. He's
Makes-
like, we're flourishing, everyone's doing great.
It's Emperor's New
They're
Clothes.
fucking starving.
It's Emperor's New Clothes, you know?
Yeah. You reminded me of Ollivander in Harry Potter, who's like, he did great things, terrible things, but great. Also, earlier when we talked about O.J. Simpson and Casey Anthony definitely fucking did it, we forgot to add a third. Carol fucking Baskin
Oh, yeah.
killed her husband.
Killed her
Yeah.
husband. Live.
Yeah.
Killed her husband, fed him to tigers, whatever.
That's not even conspiracy theory. That's just
Fucking.
unprosecuted law at this point. Jesus.
That is
Okay.
successful destruction of evidence.
Tigers.
Tigers leave no witnesses.
Okay, next one.
The Large Hadron Collider is a device for awakening an Egyptian god.
I heard the one about awakening an eldritch horror.
Yeah, same idea.
Yeah.
I've heard about the one where they collided and it's what separated two universes and that triggered the Mandela effect and
This one is intended to awake Osiris, Egyptian god.
No.
See, the thing is, I can read these off, but this website gives links to more websites. to see the
do you want to
evidence.
go further down the rabbit hole? Click
Not
these links.
really.
Yeah, I would say.
The moon doesn't exist. That's better than the Earth, Tanner.
So
It's
actually,
a hologram in space. It's a
fucking.
Pepper's Ghost hologram.
Hey, tides come in, tides come out. Can't explain that.
The moon.
So, I am a big fan of the Truman Show conspiracy. That like
Oh,
we're
it's
all just
in a studio.
yeah.
Simulation that's an Elon Musk theory now.
No.
Well, his is specifically that we exist in a simulation. This is more of a Semachian.
Well, that's the thing. The
Like it's
simulation
all
thing
artificial.
is kind of likely, which is a scary thing to think that the human brain's able to even conceive this. But statistically,
Was it you who posted the meme of Obama giving himself the Medal of Freedom sign?
it's so fucking
The
good.
brain is the most complex thing in history.
the human brain giving it to the human brain. That's a good one. But no, like there is. I can't remember. I gotta look this up again. There's studies been done that like statistically there's a higher likelihood that we are actually in a simulation just by because
Inside of a giant supercomputer?
yeah, because if you look at the advancement of human technology and how we are seeing that happen in our if we're in a simulation in our simulation, you do the math out, the likelihood of us getting to a point where we can make a simulation for people to live in is highly likely, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now take that same logic and apply it to like what
A multiverse kind of setup where,
Yes.
either a multiverse or on a long enough timeline, it would have already happened. And we're already in it.
yeah. So in the long timeline it's much more likely that
Microverse, miniverse.
it's much
I
more
was
likely.
gonna say, is this like Rick and Morty, the car battery,
Yep.
going down deeper
Yes.
and deeper,
Basically, yeah.
and we're real low?
No, we're much more likely past the point of a simulation because like we're going to approach the ability to make a simulation that people could live in probably within the next what
Are you
100 years maybe.
And are we, if we're going the further lower down
Well,
we go,
Yeah, how long have humans
the
existed?
slower, I guess, outside real time is? Is that the
140,000
argument
years.
also?
Right. So if humans have existed 140,000 years, we've had the sentience of technology in the past like 1,000 really modern technology.
So modern technology in the digital age is in
I'm
the
talking-
1900s, the Industrial
So
Revolution.
sure, industrial. When I say technology, I more mean like the fabrication of like complex tools.
Bronze stone.
Yeah.
Stone Age, that kind of-
Yeah. So if you take the whole of human history and you look at when we started to get to a point where we could settle down and make a civilization that could create
14,000 years ago.
could eventually create, a simulation. 14,000 years.
The Neolithic Revolution, when we moved to
Sure.
away from hunter-gatherer societies.
Sure. So 14,000 years.
Got my anthro degree for a reason.
So you take that 14,000 years and you put it against the scope of how long humanity could go on after a simulation. And statistically speaking, we are past the simulation point.
Yeah.
It's
And
much
then-
more likely that we're past it and living inside of it.
Theoretically, we could also be in a simulation created by dinosaurs.
Sure. Or aliens or whatever.
Yeah, some other thing.
Yeah.
Because when you're dealing with the scope of time,
Well, this
as
simulation
billions
has good wine, so cheers to
of
whoever
years.
made
Cheers,
it.
architect.
Cheers,
Could
coding.
please call me Larry.
Moon doesn't exist is a funny one.
Moon doesn't exist.
Jay-Z is a time-traveling vampire.
I've heard Nick Cage.
I've heard Nick
And
Cage.
Keanu
and
Reeves.
Yeah.
Those both make more sense to me than Jay-Z.
The photos, they find some like crazy old photos of just like literally.
The Earth is hollow. I've heard that one before for sure.
That's the concept of the new Kong vs. Godzilla movie.
Is it?
Yeah. So is it kaiju? Is kaiju the next one?
No, dinosaurs helped build the pyramids.
How else would they pull those blocks?
Sure.
No,
And then
they
they-
were long dead. But I do appreciate the fact that Cleopatra lives closer to us than the building of the pyramids.
Yeah, that's
That
true.
is weird, but also, how dare you dismiss Maluk Mungbai out in
As
the
that dinosaur.
the dinosaur in the Congo that is
We
the...
couldn't remember how to spell his name, but I'm like, it's that fucking dinosaur. I think I even said it in the beginning of the fucking when cryptids came up. I was like, better not be the name of that goddamn dinosaur.
Obviously, so I actually really ended on the
Which is
Matrix.
real.
We are leaving the Matrix, so we just basically covered that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's more. Yeah.
that's just simulation.
I'm just skipping it. These are all like dumb.
Really?
What's the
More
dumbest
dumb
one
than
on the list?
Stargate is...
Yeah, what is the dumbest one on the
Stargate
list?
is...
No,
Oh,
no,
Saddam
just-
owns a Stargate? Come on. These are all been dumb.
Hillary's dead and replaced by body double.
Agreed.
Haley?
Hillary.
Oh, I thought you said Haley Williams because that is also true.
Louis Tomlinson's baby is fake.
Don't even know who that is.
Michael Jackson's still alive. Michael Jackson.
I could be convinced of that.
Michael Jackson was killed by the Iranian government.
I cannot be
What?
convinced of that, but I can
why,
be...
why did the Ayatollah kill the king of pop?
I can agree. I could
There
say
is
like
only one
he
true
just said
king, and
I'm
he is-
checking out and did a whole Hitler thing and I'm just gonna go away on my island that I bought and stay there and die.
And Epstein was supposed to meet him, but he never
when-
got there.
Yeah.
Because the Hillary body double's an assassin.
When Michael Jackson
We're tying it
died,
all together. We're doing that Charlie Always Sunny in
Who was
Philadelphia.
Pepe
meme.
Silva?
when Michael Jackson died, Twitter briefly broke from the influence of RIP tweets. They broke a bunch of RIP tweets that knocked the Iranian election off the trending top spot. And the idea is that this prevented Iranian protesters from using the service to organize protests.
Jesus, that's grabbing at straws.
Twitter is even fucking banned in Iran.
Yeah.
Like, yes, all of
They're
the...
too busy pushing gays off rooftops.
And Saudi Arabia, our ally.
All right, 4 best music conspiracy theories of all time. Paul is dead. We already had one other one.
Wait, Paul? What?
Paul McCartney is dead.
Paul
Because
is
there's
dead.
like a...
Miss him.
Yeah, there's a clip in, I don't know what song, but if you like slow it down or like reverse it, it sounds like it's saying, Paul is dead, miss him, miss him.
So
Similar to also-
even though I've seen him on the Jimmy Fallon show not too long ago.
Yeah, not him, actor.
Actor, yeah.
It goes back to the fact that like all of the Beatles are just a rotating thing about
I'm gonna look this one up. I'm gonna dive deep into this, and it's gonna be my next moon theory.
Not only was the conspiracy selling refuted by the Beatles over the years, but Paul was nowhere near the car crash that was purported to have killed him, though he did crash his moped at some other place at some other time.
Drive a moped.
People just love good conspiracies, man. They're willing to just reach for anything.
Elvis lives.
It's Bubba Hotep, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a good movie. I should watch that.
Elvis lives in a retirement home, and like he was fighting mummies or something. Like it's a real, I think Bruce Campbell's in it.
He is.
I think he may be Elvis actually.
He is, right?
Oh my god. Okay, continue. What else
Yeah,
is there?
that's, I believe that he may be alive, but
Avril Lavigne is an imposter.
that's the one. Not Haley Williams, Avril.
Yeah. She was a skater boy. Well, she like...
Yeah,
she
she, like-
imposter for what? Who? Did she
Yeah,
die?
She was either killed and replaced by a body double, or just wanted to step the fuck out. And they were like, "We need you to keep doing this."
But you're gonna have to marry Chad Kroger.
She looks...
Yeah, and leave.
like there's
the
like a
dude
point
from
where
Sum
people,
41.
people draw the pictures and stuff and talk about she like there's a point where she like looks considerably different.
And you don't think drugs or diet have anything to do
I
with
mean,
it?
obviously,
Yeah,
Come on,
Well,
people. Occam's razor on most of these.
and
of course.
Jay-Z's Time Traveling Vampire. That's the second time I've seen that one.
I mean, how
Oh, that
much
must
could he
mean
have
it's
made all that
true.
money?
It means it's true.
true.
If two sites are willing to say it.
That's a trend.
Okay, here's why. So,
We're actually looking up why
Internet
people
Sis
believe.
came across this picture displayed above by Sid Grossman, depicting a scene in 1939 Harlem with a guy who looks exactly like Jay-Z.
He does, in fact, look a lot like
All
Jay-Z.
right, give me a sec.
I'm gonna pull it up on the stream.
Oh, we can't see the stream.
Yeah, I'll shit show.
Okay.
I feel like that's... Have you ever seen the time-traveling
So-
hipster meme?
If there was a statement of when comedians say, "Oh, police all think black people look alike," is there some underlying racist to say that this guy looks like another black person? That's
Yes.
very famous.
But
Yes,
he
the
does-
time
he
traveling guy with
does-
the sunglasses.
Yeah,
I will
and he's
say
in like a bathrobe.
I will say he looks
And he's
fucking
like-
a lot like Jay-Z though, no question.
He does, but like in the 19. But the thing, how old was that? The thing is, like, there's so many genetics of people that
Sure,
like you
sure,
look
sure.
like your
Obviously.
great grandfather. Like
Even
almost,
I'll tell you this
it
right
skips
now.
some generations, but you look exactly like this person.
So, and I didn't realize it until I had left the East Coast. There are a shit ton of people who look exactly like other people I know.
Yeah.
Like disgustingly.
Statistically
They look
speaking,
like-
like there's so many fucking
There's-
people,
Yeah, and the variants that exist.
especially with history. If you had historical people, there's so many people who have existed and have looked differently throughout their lives too, right? So,
But at
of
one
course
moment
you can
in
reach-
one photo, they looked like someone else.
Sure, exactly. But that's the thing with conspiracies. As long as you bring it back down to statistics, you can actually talk about them logically, right? And statistically speaking, everyone has a fucking double somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it's
Oh, there's doppelganger. Yeah.
yeah.
But-
Everyone does.
But the fact that we're time traveling vampires.
Why's it gotta
We-
be
we-
vampire?
Why
Why can't
can't
it just be
three of
like?
us
Why
are.
can't he
What,
just
what
be?
evidence does they have that he's a vampire?
All I have to say
Yeah,
is
that's
the
a photo taken in daylight.
all I have to say is the three of us as time traveling vampires.
Yeah, I haven't met him in my
Skeptical.
travels.
I'm skeptical of it.
Yeah, I don't know him.
I'll tell you why.
I just hope Beyonce knows what she's getting into.
Well, yeah, she's enamored. She's been.
Oh,
enthralled.
she's been seduced
Yes.
by his allure.
Millions of dollars.
Ashley loves those cheesy vampire novels. Not Twilight, but like
Young adult
young
fiction stuff.
like not romance, like hot and heavy sex,
Erotic.
vampire. Like she just fucking loves them, and it's like
Yeah.
she just like I don't know why they're so trash, but I love to read them. They're all the same. It's all the same.
Here's mysterious loner that
Lone
this
guy, yeah.
girl who's unattended, like
He ends up being royalty in a
Transylvania.
underground vampire world, and he's the prince. But it's like, and
can't be together.
Right, and the other royalty on the court are against his love for this mortal woman. It's all the same.
So there's a scene, I don't remember what fucking show it is, but it's like the shitty live action one. And this guy is trying to come up with stories to write, and he just has a dartboard of just like dumb fucking ideas, but they all are the same thing. And he's just like, we got vampire loves horse. Write it.
Gustavo.
So that's right. Everyone should watch Big Mouth. Great job.
Agreed. All right. If we can't find more conspiracies, we might wrap it up.
There's tons, but
Oh Jesus.
what's we should come up with some conspiracies on our own, you know.
Make a conspiracy and start spreading it.
That's,
I would love to do that project of like, we'll come up with a conspiracy and just put it out there and be like, this is what happens. Like, George Floyd is actually still alive.
that's a good one. It's a
Now
rough
we're
one.
just making up. Is that a conspiracy or making up rumor?
Arguably, there is no difference between the two until people believe it.
Right.
So, like, all of these are lies. They're all conjecture until they're not.
Because you could just make something sound believable. Like,
Oh,
hey,
yeah.
did you know that Josh Hartnett is Brad Pitt's nephew?
What about 5G?
Like, oh shit, that's cool.
5G causes brain cancer.
No, what about 5G and the vaccine? That's a topical one.
If I am a walking 5G
I'm
hotspot,
down with
fucking cheers.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that because that's just perpetuating the crazy
Misinformation
stay-at-home
around it.
moms that believe in the anti-vax bullshit. Like,
Yeah, fuck them.
I don't want to give them any more credence than they already have.
I'm not gonna be part of your experiment.
What was the thing?
Or no,
Actually, so-
I'll be the control in this experiment.
What was the
That's the most
Actually,
cringy thing to say.
when they said that
Ted-
Jello had horses in it?
Yeah.
So-
it's just the gelatin
gelatin itself, and
But it's like it's horses. It's like
and horse hooves. But
like, God,
that wasn't actually a really instance of word of
we got to think of it. That's what will come next week. We'll come with our conspiracies and we'll
We will defend them as fact.
that statement. We do it like actual debate style.
Yeah.
That statement though, that when a soccer mom or whatever says, I'll be the control in this experiment, that really infuriates me because it uses scientific like terminology and it almost acknowledges the scientific process and then completely ignores the actual truth about it.
Oh, that's what a lot of the flat Earth videos do. They use a lot of jargon that's
Yeah.
with scientific terms, but
Yes.
it's not cohesive to
Yeah.
real.
You're not the control.
Well, I mean-
They're not studying you. You're not. They have a control population that they're already looking after.
It's
Like,
already gone through the experimental
Yeah,
phase. We're out of that.
Yeah, it's not an experiment. Exactly. It's like legitimately, there's nothing about your statement.
Oh,
that's true.
I have a
It's
good
all
conspiracy.
an
I have a good
experiment.
conspiracy, and not so much a conspiracy, but
Let's say vaccines cause autism.
no, that some people actually. This is one that I've debated. Like, okay, I
Travis is the cure for
fucking
COVID.
saw this.
That's true. I'm apparently immune to COVID.
Deja vu is just you seeing dreams that you've had,
Mhm.
and basically dreams
That's
are
what precognition.
precognition. There have been many moments. It's happening, and it's like it's a millisecond ahead of me of I know that's gonna fall. Boom, and it falls, and it's like and that person's gonna walk in and say something, and they're gonna say this exactly, but I can't say it faster than what is happening. But I know it's gonna happen, and it doesn't. And then I said, hey, actually, I remember 2.5 weeks ago waking up from this dream.
Mm-hmm.
Like this happened in a dream. 2 weeks. I remember waking up and going to the bathroom. I remember doing this, and it's so fucking real to me, and I don't understand.
Are you the Minority Report?
So
Yeah, but it's like always like a second ahead. I can't catch up to it.
So I don't.
But I can specifically remember the moments and the times
But
of
they're
when I
all
dreamt it.
routine things.
Not so much. Not always.
So, like,
That's just
you're
an
gonna be
example I use. But
okay.
like, there's some specific
There-
like, wow, you're wearing. Okay, continue. Yeah.
So one of the common kind of counterpoints to deja vu, precognition, anyhow, is that your brain is taking in so many patterns that you are just not consciously processing. So when you are dreaming, you are kind of rolling into those processes and kind of rearranging them, trying to understand all of the different ins and outs of them. And your subconscious mind is kind of viewing these things as, I knew that, we'll say Jake is going to walk through this hallway on it, and he's going to stub his toe on his foot
I've never been able to do that.
So, but that's the thing is, like, let's say that then happens, and if you look at all of the possibilities that are there, you've stubbed your toe on it a bunch of times. Yeah. Jake walks a certain way when he comes through this, so that when something completely unrelated, like
I took a slightly different path or something.
Okay,
not
I have a question.
No, I'm gonna.
Okay.
There's a little more to it on it.
Okay.
So you're not actually seeing, like, you didn't actually see Jake do these things.
Oh, you remembered
each of the different patterns
in
retrospect and compiled them together.
Yeah.
And saying like, oh yeah, I saw this, I know this. You saw and what you envisioned
Your memory's imperfect.
were all of those different.
Yeah, you're in like exactly. So your memory's
Even
imperfect.
down to
so
things
you
like
remember
I know he's wearing this color shirt, and
Yeah.
I haven't seen him today,
Right.
but I know he's going to
But
walk.
have you
up
ever
with
seen that person? Like, you need to think. I have seen Jake in all of these articles of clothing before,
Yeah.
and some without. But like, but
good.
combinations of clothing that exist. I mean, Jake pointed out, I'm always wearing jeans.
Yeah.
So any sort of envisionment that you'd see, be like, Travis is in jeans. Don't know what color they are, but you know that he's wearing blue ones, he's wearing black ones. And so all of these different pieces, you're not consciously aware of.
But the remembering in
But they're
retrospect
remembering
thing,
things.
the remembering in retrospect thing, I think, is the key to this because you will have the experience of seeing it happen, right? And then you'll remember having put those pieces together before in your brain, but you will then supplement that as even though you remember like putting those things together in your brain, you'll then transpose that as being before the action. So you'll remember thinking it beforehand. Like legitimately, you'll misremember that action just because of
Think
how,
so? Even
how
though
thought works.
like me, myself, or other people say in confidence, like I 100% dreamed this. If you asked me if I ever had a dream about Jake,
I fully
and I said, and
I
I
fully
could tell
know that
if you had asked me,
Mm.
I would say, yeah, I dreamed about Jake dropping his drink after he stubbed his toe on that chair there, and he fucking did it, just now. Like,
Yeah, I fully, and again, I have no, outside of like the very cursory research that I looked into this, because like I always like have a shit ton of deja vu when I'm just like, this feels uncomfortable. I know these things, I know what's going to come. And it's like, do I think that I'm actually a precog? No.
no, I'm not saying, I'm not,
But,
yeah.
but like to continue
be-
the
oh,
thought
you're not on
process
there.
through it,
There's another glass here.
it's understanding, trying to make sense of the near infinite amount of possibilities that you've seen. Like you can't.
I understand that's probably Occam's razor.
Yeah.
It's just there's
To
been a
take
couple times where it's like I know I dreamt it and I know I woke up from a dream, or I woke up that morning and when I recall my dreams, like, oh, that happened, I did that, and that was a
Yeah.
crazy dream. I remember that being one of the things that I ran through in a dream. Like I'm
After
But
the
but
event
you-
has happened.
no, before the event.
No,
No,
so,
after
like,
the events happened.
happened.
I remember that like
Yes,
I dreamt
Thinking
it.
that the dream had so
That I
it's,
had dreamt
it, it is an
On top
issue
of
with the
that-
persistence of memory.
Also, let's talk
No
on top
one-
of that. How many details of that don't line up either, right? You're picking.
Oh,
the
sure,
details that
sure,
do line
probably,
up.
yeah.
So there's a handful to it that like I don't actually believe in deja vu.
I just think there's so much
experiencing
about the human
things-
brain that's not yet understood or unlocked, especially the concept of
Didn't you just say
dreams. Especially the concept of dreams. What was that?
I said, didn't you just say that?
So throughout it, though, I think one of the great kind of figures that I just happen to remember because of a like advertising class that I took fucking 10 years ago was, do you know how many advertisements you're actually exposed to? in a
Oh
day?
dear God, it's ridiculous. Is there a number?
Yes.
Between just scrolling through internets, there's banners.
Scroll.
Standing-
There's
That's
standing
not
here
even
right
standing here. Can you look
Standing
at every
here right
single
now.
advertisement that's here? The
yeah,
wine labels,
there's the
laptop,
mic, the mic,
books,
yeah,
these
okay.
things.
The crackers.
Upwards of 30,000 advertisements for companies or products you experience every single day.
I believe it. Sure, makes sense.
You can't recall any of them outside of what you're immediately seeing right now.
There's an advertisement on my chest right now.
There's one behind you. There's a fucking stick there.
Yeah.
The point behind it is that we are so barraged by all of these stimuli on it that like our brain just folds them all up, puts them away somewhere.
Well, all three of our shirts are advertisers, actually.
Yes. Fat Orange Cat Brewing.
Connecticut Science Center. Two of us work at the place.
Hey, I
so
saw a
we're
bumper sticker for that recently too.
Yeah, did you just say fuck it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Amazing how that worked out, huh?
Mm.
Yeah.
Is it your car?
No, I don't have bumper stickers. I think they're tacky.
Deja vu.
Hey, I have bumper stickers. How dare you make fun of me?
Do I have? I don't think I have it on this card, do I?
No, truth be told, like
Mine are all libertarian.
I had a bunch of brewery ones
Of
on
course,
my,
of course you do.
on my Volkswagen, and then it got hit.
Did you really need to clarify what bumper stickers you had?
I have one Patriots bumper sticker too.
It's libertarian too.
It's pretty. It's a Patriot. It has to, it's the final score of the Pats and the Falcons Super Bowl where they came back.
Was it 4 minutes of just like bullshit?
3 minutes
3
of
minutes?
them. No. They were down 27-3
Yeah.
at the end of the third, going into the fourth,
Yeah.
and then
Blow out.
that's why he's the best. Tom Brady's the goat. I don't give a fuck what anyone says.
I don't think anyone has a strong
And then he
argument.
goes. He leaves a
I think-
tournament.
I
He
think-
leaves the Pats and
I
goes
think-
wins
I think
another
it's-
one.
I think it's cemented now. Like,
Yeah,
it was already
it was up for
true.
debate when he was with the Patriots.
I don't know, it was-
Usually, I
it
don't
was
think it was a
already-
good debate.
No, it was already true
But,
at
like-
5. It's fucking cemented at 6.
On a different team.
On a different-
No, it's a different number 7.
Oh wait, sorry, 7. Yeah,
7.
It's cemented. It's also the his first year on that team, first year away from the fucking Patriots. You know.
Also at his age,
Yeah.
it's fine. It's
how,
over.
how many
It's done.
back-to-back ships does he have? you
There's
know?
that great meme of the first, second, and third podiums, and the third place guy is drinking the champagne and,
Yeah.
and going crazy, and it had the Tampa Bay was number 1,
Yeah.
Chiefs were in second place, and then Patriot fans were going crazy for when Brady won.
But yeah.
We're not
Long-
really big
long-
on the sports, just me. I don't-
Long story short, don't believe in deja vu. Tom
I'm-
Brady's the goat. I think that's kind of.
Don't believe in deja vu. Tom Brady's the goat,
All right.
and that's left, right, cap.
That's right, Cap today.
That's not very good. Or believe in deja vu
well, we're back
because
at
that
the-
happened
We're back at the bar.
7 times.
You might notice we're back at the bar. You know.
Dude,
something.
Yes, that's true.
We're gonna try to dress this up a little bit. I think going forward. I
Fuck
want
you, this bar's dope.
It's just like a little bit of production stuff.
We
you know?
need tinfoil hats back
Yeah.
here. So you can put 'em on.
I want to upgrade the camera hopefully before next week. I bought an adapter to adapt an HD camera to it. So
Excellent.
I have my DSLR here now. So
We killed the wine. We killed the cheese.
And then busted out a 2013 Pinot Noir.
it's pretty good.
And I feel
Actually,
like we
it's
pretty
pretty
much were in agreement that about the Chauvin stuff. That was like,
Yeah.
some of these charges were a little pushed.
I'm pleased. I am glad that the family was able to get closure, and
I do lean towards.
Do we know how
justice-
much the family's getting? Is there financial compensation amount? Do we know that
I
number?
know that one of the other ones in the past, the average that they usually do is about 20 million with the family for wrongful death. That's what specifically the instance that happened that I'm citing.
27 million.
Yeah, the instance that I'm citing on it was previously a woman from Australia who moved to Minneapolis, heard a domestic violence case in a alleyway behind their apartment. She called the cops, said, "Hey, some shit's going on." The cops killed her.
Her.
Yes.
Yeah, Reisowitz, I think is what her last name was. Yep, they killed her because they were dealing with that. She came outside and they shot her. That dude got, I think, he didn't get murder 3, I think, but he did get homicide and I think murder 2. One of them. He got stuff.
That's
He's
crazy.
in prison. Yeah.
That's crazy.
So, or whichever one is the just willy-nilly random act of
3.
violence.
That's 3, right?
3.
So then, yeah, I think he got murder 3 and manslaughter. Cop is non-white. The woman who was shot was white.
Part of me, a fair percentage of me, feels that is not, that doesn't even play a part in any of these real
Did you not hear
interactions in general.
The state he just called out, the stats he was just talking about in Minneapolis, though, is that Derek Chauvin being the first consequential white person to be tried for it. Or
Yeah, convicted for it.
Convicted for it, sorry, yeah.
So, on top of it, the Department of Justice has launched an investigation into all of Minnesota's policing because, gotta say, they don't have a good track record when it comes to this. There's been 6 in 2 years.
Very public ones, yeah.
And not to say that, I know when we've talked with our police officer friend, he's statistically, if you count every single interaction that officers have throughout the country, it is an infinitely small number of this shit happening.
Sure.
And I'm I get that. I understand.
So
statistics.
media is sensationalizing.
The question, I think nationally,
It's not the
you could have the argument. I don't agree with it, but I think that you can present some case. I think that a disproportionate of these take place in the Midwest, and overwhelmingly in Minnesota. This speaks to a trend.
But also, I will say to this too is that the media doesn't blow out of proportion in the sense that things are being. If someone's getting away with murder, that's something we should talk about as a society.
Yes.
Even if it's statistically a small portion of cops doing it, right? We should still talk about it.
Yeah.
Because people should not get away with murder, right?
Correct.
That's just it. It's just that's
It's a pretty
simple
black
thing.
and white issue, yeah.
So
No pun intended.
it being statistically a small proportion of the police doing it does not change the fact that it's something
That
that's
it's still
done.
occurring.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's,
Murder is still murder no matter what.
so I'm actually talking about all instances of police brutality.
Sure. Yeah.
Um,
I'm saying the stats don't matter because because a murder is still a murder and we should still try it that way.
Yeah, I would just say that because of the overall amount of police
Not all-
brutality,
not
they all
all-
should be investigated. They all should
Sure.
have cases.
What I'm also saying is not all cops does not mean Derek Chauvin should walk free. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. People who break the law should be held accountable for breaking said law.
Yeah.
Now that said,
Hillary
I think you're
Clinton email server.
Donald
Donald
Trump,
Trump,
his
inciting-
kids, every single one of them.
Don't
they're doing the
disagree.
same. They all should.
Inciting insurrection.
Not even. I mean, yes, but
Hey,
Taking
stand
it-
down. Stand by.
that wasn't the one. It was you should march to the Capitol and let them know what you mean, and you're not going to take it. You're
There
going
was
to
no
go
side
and do it.
wigging that time.
No, there was nothing. It was quite literally, they are stealing this election from you. Go stop them.
Yeah.
And gotta say, he dressed it up as it was all hyperbole, and no sane person would have done what I had said. And it's like, I still love the fact that the woman who is being sued by Dominion, voting systems for defamation and slander against them, she was the head or the chief legal person for Trump's campaign, saying that their flawed equipment stole this election on him. In one suit, she said, no one should have believed me. I didn't know what I was talking about. And then in the same one, is still had her case brought to the Supreme Court.
Is that who? Did you watch the special on Netflix? The COVID. It's a You guys haven't watched this? Oh my god!
I don't know what it is you're talking about.
They recap the whole COVID thing. It's comedic. It's a fake documentary.
Gotcha.
Please watch it. I can't remember the name of it. Can you Google it real quick just so I can get this name up? It's
Sure.
COVID comedy documentary on Netflix. Or 2021. Maybe it's called 2020. What the fuck or something. It's something.
I think I've seen something like that.
It's something like that, and it's so fucking funny. And they have a character. Lisa Kudrow plays. Probably
Is it Death to 2020?
It's a comedy. It's a fake documentary comedy.
Documentary 2020 is it?
It has Hugh Grant in
Death
it.
to 2020.
Death to 2020. Yeah, it's so Samuel Jackson's. It is so funny. You need to watch this if you haven't seen it. But Lisa Kudrow plays this spokesperson.
Charlie Brooker.
Who plays this spokesperson who
You know who Charlie Brooker is?
No.
He made Black Mirror.
Oh, well then he's a genius because this thing's fucking hilarious.
Have you never watched Black Mirror?
I've not.
Oh, you would. You should watch Black Mirror.
I gotta still watch Midnight Gospel.
Yeah, dude.
Watch
Have
both
you
those
now
films.
realize that you need to just move your shit on a beat for it now?
I've watched the first one sober.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Dr. Drew, that's probably the easiest one to watch so far.
Yeah.
The zombie one.
Yeah. And Ashley and I watched it and we're like, this is a lot.
Yeah, you haven't even got so the next 5 are like crazy off the wall spiritual stuff. It's like
they're gonna fucking go out there. Whoever the wizard is.
Oh yeah, he's one of the Memphis 5.
Yeah.
The guy who plays he's one of the Memphis 5.
What the hell is the Memphis 5?
It's a whole nother case. Yeah. Wrongful imprisonment basically.
Jesus. I'm so out of the loop.
This is long ago.
All right, so watch Death to 2020,
sorry, Memphis
Midnight
3.
Gospel,
Memphis 3.
Memphis 3.
Yeah.
Watch Death to 2020, Midnight Gospel, Black Mirror, and that Fox moon landing conspiracy. I'm bringing it back.
Nope.
I think that's pretty much good to wrap it up for at least me because I have such a long drive home.
Drink red wine.
Drink red wine. It's healthy for you.
Eat blue cheese.
Because doctors change, right? It's like eggs are healthy for you, wine's healthy for you, then they change it.
Be good to each other.
My name is Tanner Hall. This has been Left Right Cab.
I'm Travis Pajoli. I think everyone needs to eat more cheese.
Good night.
Have a great night. We'll see you in a couple weeks.